As darkness fills Salt Palace once again. You can do better than that. We can't see you, but we can hear you, Salt Lake City. Out of all the teams that ventured into the dark, only 2 were brave enough to make it their ally. Are we ready? This is the grand finale of the Salt Lake City Major. Let's bring out our 2 top teams. In the dark, you must show zero fear. They already turned the world champions' lights out and have silverware in their sights. Welcome, DarkZero! And their opponents. Rebels with a cause. They've found a fire we've not seen from them ever before. And they're here to extinguish one final threat. It's Shopify Rebellion! There's a lot of history here. We've already discussed it on the desk. Troy, Fultz, I just want to know what you want to say to each other first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say today. I know it's going to be a good match. Me and my guys are going to play hard, and I have a lot of respect for these guys and Troy, so that's really it.
Same goes here. He's one of my favorite teammates of all time, one of my best friends, and I got nothing but respect. I know that he's a competitor. I know I'm a competitor. I know we're gonna have a hell of a match, and it's as simple as that.
You've got your fans here. You've got your fans here. What do you want to say to them?
Just get loud, man. I know they got some. Yeah, I know they have some big content creators and such on their side, so I know that carries some weight. But you know, I feel like we're those guys. So.
Troy, what do you want to say to your fans?
Just thank you. Yesterday genuinely brought tears to my eyes, but I'm excited to be here. I'm not gonna take this for granted. I know the rest of the guys aren't either. We're so excited. Let's get fucking loud and let's have a great fucking match, yeah? Let's go!
Quick handshake. Best of luck, guys. Now, you as a crowd have been phenomenal all weekend, but we haven't done one true big test. So let's let everybody in the vicinity know how loud we can get. Salt Lake City, if you are ready for your grand final, make some noise! loud. Who's taking this? Is it DarkZero? Or will it be Shopify Rebellion? The players are ready. The crowd is hyped, as you can tell. There was only one duo calling the action for this one. Jesse and Parker, take it away.
Well, thank you so very much. It was 4 long years ago on the other coast of this country that we saw the last North American versus North American derby. And it was one of these orgs that won it and one of these men who won it. But they're on different sides of the stage now. And in fact, this is just our 3rd All-NA derby. We got to go all the way back to Continuum versus Era Eternity in 2017. How many of you here watched the first 6 Invitational?
Couple of them.
And guess what? Troy's team has won every single one of these NA versus NA matchups. So the question we ask, Jesse, will Troy go 3 for 3, or will DZ blunt that momentum and win their 2nd All-NA matchup? I don't know about you, Jesse. I am very excited. Do you have any predictions for this NA showdown?
Parker, this is one of those games that is just impossible to call on paper, but I'll tell you one thing. Both other times in history when we've had all NA finals, it has gone the distance. A full 3 maps back at the first SI, a full 5 maps in Charlotte. So I can promise you one thing, this is about to be a crazy best of 5.
And we'll start on Nighthaven Labs. No time being wasted whatsoever. The good people of Salt Lake City seem to think that the edge is for the Rebellion, and the community backs it up as well. This is going to be a barn burner. I am certain of it. When we saw the brackets a couple days ago, we said it is entirely possible that North America has 2 teams to cheer for, and no matter what, part of this crowd is going to go home happy. It's a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, no doubt, Parker. It definitely feels like the fans from both teams have come out to support. It's not just the players, it's the coaches, it's the organizations behind these teams as well. So much blood, sweat, and tears have been put into these 2 rosters just to make it here. Shopify Rebellion, of course, months and months of not making roster moves, of not being accepted, of those poor performances in Munich, poor performances in Paris, but now they've made it to a grand finals in DarkZero. It's been a dark couple of years for that organization, but a big rebuild at the start of this season has come through, and this team is looking deadlier than ever.
I know that it's been said on broadcast many times, but the tagline for this major, darkness is your ally. Well, it's in the name, DarkZero, and they have been in that darkness. They are hoping that the light at the end of the tunnel is coming in a hurry. I think it's fair to say that both of these organizations have had a series of struggles over the last year. DarkZero, obviously, couple years back, let's just talk about it, made the move to get rid of Canadian. And since then, the team has hit nowhere near the same level of success. And it only took until a crazy roster move where they brought in the core of that space station roster, an organization on which, as Troy alluded to, he and Fultz won a world championship. Is that enough for DarkZero to overcome this hurdle and win just the 2nd major in their org's history?
Well, Parker, when you lose Canadian and the team starts to struggle a bit, why not bring in the guy who trained under Canadian? Our guest broke it down beautifully, but of course, Fultz lifting that hammer beside Troy, of course, has moved over to be one of the best IGLs in North America since that match. It's been a very long time since those 2 teams, or those players have shared a team, but man, you know how deep the history runs. Nighthaven Labs, as you mentioned, is where we're going to kick things off. The double electricity ban, so common to come through from Shopify Rebellion, but DZ a bit more targeted. Snake is a very common operator for Ambi to play on this map. It's not a surprise to see that getting removed. And also the Ace, one of the most powerful hard breachers that we have here in Rainbow Six, and a favorite of Spoits here on Nighthaven.
Jesse, we didn't really get to talk a lot about this map pool, but you being the numbers guy can dive into it. Chalet has been a statement map for DarkZero, and it will be played. We know that the first 3 maps will see usage. Whether we go to Cafe, whether we end on Lair, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But Chalet, Nighthaven Labs, these are the 2 maps for these 2 teams.
Yeah, 100%. Both teams got exactly what they wanted to start off this best of 5. Shopify Rebellion 3-0 this season, beating 1 of 30, EDG and Enterprise, the last 2 over the last couple of weeks here in Utah. So they've got quite a bit of experience. Now that means the VOD advantage goes a little bit over towards DarkZero, but SR will, of course, have accounted for that. They'll be bringing some new strats in for this first round, of course, on storage.
And this was something that we did reference when we casted them on Nighthaven Labs long ago, which is that you get a bit overexposed, and if you don't change things up, while it is a comfortable map for you, they might have a good read on it. Maybe J90 has a good read on it as he picks off the very first player and gets kill number 1 in what will be a long series.
Surf a bit disconnected from his teammates there. That's okay, because the answer back comes through from Spoit. Immediate trade from NJR, though, and the numbers continue to favor DZ.
The man they call the mayor. It was in Charlotte where he won his very first major, teaming with Canadian on that DarkZero squad. He's looking to go 2 for 2. He's at a bit of a roller coaster when it comes to success here in the North American League, and his numbers are real nasty. He runs into Ambi, another player who's had some pretty nasty numbers too. And we go back to a 3v3 with just over a minute to go.
Yeah, big frag coming out there, of course. Ambi and NJR, the 2 front runners for MVP of the tournament. This finals is undoubtedly going to determine which of those 2 lifts that, of course, most important title. Getting the victory so important as well. Now, we got 60 seconds left, Parker. 3 players alive on both sides. I like this position for Shopify Rebellion. They've got really good soft reach, of course, with Ambi still existing on the Ram. They'll know where a couple of these players are at, but watch out for some of these tricks. Faults on the Pulse, Kino on the Thorn. There are some tricks up the sleeve of DarkZero that could really put a thorn in the side of this attack.
They've got that boogie drone up top. Canadian was also looking to go onto the Twitch drone to gain some more information, so Rebellion using that intel so effectively. Fultz training under the master of Canadian on that Pulse operator. He'll know that quite well. The Razor Bloom hit by Canadian. That's good information for DarkZero as they are ever so patient. Rubber will now hit the road. We are running out of time in this very first round. Canadian has found an opening. Is there intel to be had? Yes. Fultz down below. Rexon punishing Newers. Now it's Kino called into action. It might rest on the shoulders of Fultz to clutch as Kino fires away hopelessly. Nitro Cell goes out, shot by Ambi. There goes Kino, and Fultz will have to retake. HPs make this very doable. Rexon, Canadian, and Ambi all very, very low. But all SR needs to do is just sit and wait. Fultz isolated outside of the bomb site. This is a tough one, and he'll walk into a crossfire. It's Canadian to take down Fultz. How poetic for the final kill of round 1.
It's the Rebellion who are known as the Kings of Nighthaven, and for good reason, Parker. DZ trying something a little sneaky. They go storage for their first site. They play that Pulse down below, but it was perfectly read by SR. That Nitro Cell from Fultz could have been a disaster as the plant was going down with very little time left on the board, but that's okay. Ambi was ready for it. Rexon was hitting some beautiful shots. It was a battle of the minds to start things off. And again, you kind of come to expect these styles of attacks from SR, where sometimes it gets a little bit slow. Yes, the opening death didn't go their way. They lost that opening frag, but it didn't matter because the trades in the top floor were good enough. They still left themselves with 60 seconds to go for the execute, and that's plenty of time for Canadian to hold that.
And Canadian obviously been under the microscope quite a lot. These 2 teams are very different in the way that they approach Rainbow Six Siege, right? Canadian, a dedicated hard support for a while. Spoit was also in that same role, but they've let the dog off the leash here in Salt Lake City, and Spoit has been moved to a more aggressive, more forward fragging role, and because of it, his numbers have flourished. Now, this weekend it's been the Ambi show, but let's not forget that you needed Spoit, one of the best rated players during phases 1 and 2 to get you here. If Canadian can get a couple early picks and the rest of the team continues to frag, everything is going well for Shopify Rebellion at that point.
Spoit was crowned a major champion in Berlin back in his very first stage of competitive Rainbow Six. He ended that tournament with an EPS of 108. He enters this final with the exact same rating, an EPS of 108, but the KDR couldn't be more different. 131 so far here through Salt Lake City. That has been an exceptional stat line for Spoit, and it's been a big reason why SR have gotten this far.
I don't know if you saw the graphic that was shared with Shopify Rebellion before yesterday's matchup, or it might have been 2 days ago. They tend to blur together, but it basically showed the battle of the Spoits, where during kickoff, he actually had 1 fewer kill, but 30 more deaths. So far more efficiency here, and it really does speak to Rebellion changing things up. For DarkZero, though, the stylistic difference. They've got 3 to potentially 4 dedicated support players, and you've allowed Newers and NJR to run roughshod over your opponents. It's been working. NJR's been terrific, but if their fraggers can't frag, DarkZero might not have enough in the tank to catch up.
Well, the Pulse will return for DarkZero on their second defense, but instead of the captain, it'll be held by Kino. We saw in the picture-in-picture, he's getting good information to start things off. There's a heavy roam presence coming through. Newers, of course, the primary roamer, the primary entry on DarkZero. He's going to be the first one who likely comes into contact with this roam clear from SR. They don't have to full clear this whole map. We see teams go pretty direct just through cafeteria at times, but it does look like the Rebellion want to clear out some of these roamers before they go for their execute. Newers a little bit solo here at the top of Fish Stairs.
Got to see the logic bombs used by Ambi to deny time and gain some valuable information. If you watch the reveal panel that went on right before this, say goodbye to the Dokkaebi you know and love. She is seeing some changes, so the last real window before somebody lifts that Dokkaebi-themed trophy sitting between these two teams. It's been a good run for that Korean operator, but a new look is never a bad thing.
5v5, they really haven't actually committed to this roam clear, Parker. They're okay with there still being some defenders up above. They can maybe try to sneak a plant in under some smokes or some other utility. Spoit inside a cafeteria. There's a player just on the other side of this wall. I believe that's Fault's close on the window. If Spoit's not ready for this could be a massive blunder, but he repositioned slightly.
Still have the pulse though, but in a different player's arms. That's Kino now upstairs gaining a ton of information here. Logic bombs will go off. So Kino will be known for the time being. Second round in a row, DarkZero will strike first. Newers takes down Canadian, Ambi trades it right back. There goes NJR. Is Kino in a position where he needs to maneuver? Yes, as J90 bites the dust, so does Fultz. It's Kino and Newers now in tough spot. There goes Newers. It's a full court press, and SR will start off their map 2-0.
Beautiful attack coming out from the Rebellion once again, Parker. We haven't seen the primary site for most teams up on the top floor, but down in the basement, SR, they take their time with that push. They again lose the opening pick. Early attack coming from DZ.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
Go back to supply. We're going to fight these guys. Stop. Don't give them space off of it. Bulker, if you want to ban the fucking Ram third and go in consolidations, we can, but I'm sick of doing this. We're just giving them space and let them take our ass. Fight them on
So
supply.
if they side ISO, what's our plan?
Go flow down and fight them on it.
All right.
And then especially like before they even do it, like when they are clearing off that, I want to get more aggressive in the mid around here. Like don't let them just poke around for free and keep poking around and going to what they want to do.
Yeah. Let's start looking for early kills.
Yeah, start looking for the early kills and the micros on these guys. Try to break their own boarding source for them.
Heard. Let's go supply base then.
After that, kind of read it as seeing how supply goes. I think you go back to basement. You could also maybe go to like fucking man or kitchen. Just whichever one you want after that.
Heard.
Yo, run the mirror. Run the mirror. I can run the mirror.
Striker. Beepers. Supply base, Trey.
And what?
Okay. Supply base. You go Azami.
You run the mirror book?
Coach Callout not mincing words in that tack time, a little frustrated, even just 2 rounds deep into the series, but wants to cut out some of the crap, right? Banning out that Ram is a possibility for them if they don't want to deal with that vert pressure that SR have been playing so well, but really just needs to get the team back on track here. Down 2-0 on the defense for Nighthaven Labs. Even though this is SR's home, this is where they thrive as a team. You can't be happy with a result like that.
No, not at all. Very disappointed dad vibes.
Yeah.
I felt like I was ashamed. I feel like I wasn't pulling my weight there. And just a small note, we are a community, and of course this is a match that is celebrating DarkZero and the Rebellion, but I don't know if any of you saw Fabian welcoming a child to the world over the last week. We just want to wish congratulations to Fabian. He is a new father. Yeah, you can cheer for Fabian.
5 seconds to go.
If there's anybody who knows what it's like to be fathered by Fabian, it's Canadian.
That is true.
Attackers are heading out.
Bit of a history there, but no, of course, we're oh so happy for the coach of M80, Fabian, a huge moment in his life.
Kino obviously used to call Fabian dad as well when Kino was on that M80 roster, and we wish obviously him and his partner the best. I obviously don't have children. I have a cat. It's nowhere near the same, so I'm not going to try to relate to him, but I know it must be pretty proud moment, but also pretty stressful. So let's get back into this though. Timeout taken and a pretty swift way into Warehouse for Rebellion as they open that up. One thing, Jesse, that I've been noticing is the Rebellion have been exceptional with their drone work. This is something that was very evident in round number 1. It has carried on here now, and I don't know if we're going to see any changes from DarkZero to deal with this. They do have a mute, but I mean, sometimes that's just not enough.
Well, clearly it's a completely different setup coming through from DarkZero. They're playing the same bomb site as round number 1, notably 3 rounds deep, and we have not been to the top floor of Nighthaven Labs. That's very unusual, but clearly DZ have a game plan with this. There's that Ram that was potentially going to get banned after round 3, already being used by Ambi, hunting for an angle. Ooh, finds NJR, but not the head, so it's not good enough.
That's, we can use biblical terms. That's, well, I guess David won, so that's David versus David.
Okay.
Fighting to see which one of them will come out ahead. NJR and Ambi is the showdown that so many of us have wanted for much of this event, and right now Ambi is winning it quite handily. 3-0, the good start for the youngster, and he's actually in position to break the major kill record, Jesse.
Oh, missed shots coming out from Newers there. Also a fantastic aggressive player from DZ who's been racking up the frags this event. Now the flashbang is coming out though. They realize they need to get this top floor control. It's been a little bit too long, Parker, and they're not happy with the 5v5, so in comes the cavalry.
Bit of trepidation from Ambi as he now vaults on over. Logic bomb goes off. Rebellion looking to capitalize off this information. They've been held off the score sheet early, not this round. Ambi and Rexon strike for 2. That gives Canadian an opening. Spoit's on the board as well. Everybody firing on all cylinders. Surf now on the board. Give it to Canadian, and it's a team ace. He does get the defuse kit down. DarkZero left just up to Fultz, who's come up empty-handed more than we can count. There goes Spoit. No flawless round will be had for the Rebellion, but everything else is working in their favor. The Ram, a hindrance for them, still hurting them in the post plan as time runs down. Fultz, what do you do in this position? Well, you die to Ambi, that's it. Ambi 5-0 to start this contest, and Jesse, I did say Ambi is in striking distance of Yuzis' major kill record.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Parker. After this phenomenal start, you're right, Solotov, easy to get them mixed up. Of course, played on the same team for so long, but really, this has been domination from SR, and you're right. Ambi now leading the kills, 5-0 here on this first map. That brings them up to 170 total across this event. The record, 203, set by Solotov at the Copenhagen Major. So there's definitely still a bit of a gap, and if this game continues the way that it has been, if we get a quick 3-0 for SR, there might not be time for it, but it's only a matter of time before DZ starts striking back. You've got to give credit to SR with how dominant they've looked on these early games, despite not getting the opening pick. How often do you hear broadcasters talk about the conversion rate of those entries? It's been a big talking point for these teams, specifically for DarkZero, who have been the best conversion team of the entire event, winning 82% of rounds where they get that entry. But so far, they've lost 2 openings. They've been traded back really quickly on the side of SR, and they've always kind of came out of that early game still with a lead, still with an advantage. So DarkZero, it's not enough just to get that first kill. They've got to find ways to actually win in the early game and going into those last 60 seconds with some kind of a man advantage.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is now, what was it, 7 rounds in a row for SR to send themselves to the grand finals. This will be round 10, technically, in a row going back to yesterday. It's been quite a run for this Rebellion squad. They picked Nighthaven Labs. They presumably will start on the wrong side. The numbers do back that up. DZ has a better attacking win rate on this map, so things will likely get better for DarkZero when the second half comes in. The Rebellion are good on both sides of this map. Yes, they are a better attacking team, but their defense is nothing to sneeze at either. The main goal for DarkZero, which might sound very simple, but so far has been very hard, is do not let SR run up the score on you. Something's got to change. You've already used your timeout. What can you do if you're DZ?
4 rounds deep, and I'm going to keep harping on this, Parker. We've seen 3 bomb sites on Nighthaven Labs, and none of them are the traditional primary site of the top floor. Kitchen cafeteria being brought out by DZ. And Ambi, this is, again, one of those bomb sites where he almost exclusively runs the snake, so we'll move over to the Dokkaebi with that snake getting banned out. Going to be trying to, again, work some of those opening picks. I believe it was Rexon in that last round who got that first frag, so hunting for it once more. But this is a classic setup from DZ. You've got the clash at the top of these lobby stairs. Canadian knows this position well. Fultz has to be careful, though. This concussions are coming in and making his life kind of scary.
Fultz saw those bullets whiz by as he was being hunted down by 2 players on that top floor. It was a bit of a rough go of it, and I mean, Fultz is not the guy that you expect to be racking up kills.
No.
He's the Canadian of DarkZero. But if you're in that position, he almost went for it, and if you lose that duel, that's devastating for DZ.
Kino remains on the top floor, but he's still far from this meeting area that SR have control under. They're working the vert. Even without the ram, they're finding good opportunities, but no frags yet. 90 seconds deep.
And just patrolling these openings. Keep barrier's not usually used for horizontal coverage, but will have to be here. Oh, it's a misinput. How does J90 kill Fultz? That is such a blunder. And maybe it speaks to a little bit of nerves with this DZ team.
Yeah, obviously this is a big stage. They've yet to find their first round. They're feeling the pressure early here in Salt Lake City. They've got a couple of opportunities still to pull this one back. Again, Kino waiting on the flank for the perfect moment, but everybody on SR remains alive. They can keep somebody watching that flank, but at the same time, they hit the site.
They've put Kino in clutch or kick positions many, many times, and kick, unfortunately, has happened on all 3 of them. There goes Ambi, Canadian as well. Suddenly, DarkZero striking, I believe like a Viper is what people have been saying. NJR and Newers in semi-dire positions, but Rebellion are stalling out now with not a lot of time left.
Here comes the flashbang, here comes the fight. J90 takes a bit of damage from the DMR of Surf, but retreats back in towards the site. SR need to get a move on sooner rather than later.
Rexon yet to die. Ambi was in that same boat, but the boat sunk. So what can you do when you're staring down the wrong side of these numbers? Rexon collecting Newers. Who's next? Spoit dies to NJR. A second kill for the mayor. The Solace of Kino upstairs being hunted by Surf. Shotgun in the corner. Surf doesn't check it. And suddenly Rexon needs to win a 1v2 with 10 seconds to go. I don't know how I feel about this one. Diffuser going down, NJR and Kino both on utility hops. They will easily find him. And there's NJR to get his 3rd. DZ is finally on the board.
Big bounce back from DarkZero, defending that kitchen cafeteria site just like they had to. Really nice kind of kills coming through. It wasn't the opening frag, technically because of the TK, but I thought NJR was so critical, shutting down the backstab from Ambi early in that round, and then of course ending with the Nitro too. This Team K right on default. Bit of bad luck, bit of nerves, maybe a bit of revenge as well. Fault leads the tournament in team kills so far in Salt Lake City. He has 2 coming into these grand finals. Nobody else has quite achieved that just yet, so I'm sure it's not intentional, but you know, it does speak to a little bit of chaos maybe in the DZ comms. They fight through it, they win this round, they're on the board.
And I mean, we speculated that nerves could be the culprit here, Jesse, but it's actually SR who have way less experience competing on this stage. J90's first event ever was on that Astralis team that made the Charlotte Major Finals. NJR winning a major in Charlotte. Fultz, of course, a world champion. Kino winning a major before. This is maybe uncharted territory for Newers and Callout, but if you look on the side of Rebellion, it is very, very different.
Even Callout was coaching that Astralis team back in Charlotte,
That is right.
So
I almost forgot.
there's so much experience across both of these teams, but also so many heartbreaks, so many frustrations over the last couple of years in particular. It's been too long since we've seen an NA team not named M80 or Beast Coast lifting a trophy, finding success, dominating the international opponents that so often NA seems to struggle against. But now DarkZero and the Rebellion have earned their place here in the Salt Lake City Grand Finals. DZ, desperate to tie this half. Again, 3-3 on Nighthaven Labs. That's bare minimum on the defense. You want to be racking things up, especially up against the Rebellion, who can be so good defending on this map, but they'll have to earn it. They'll have to work for it here, and we'll start on the bottom floor. Storage, excuse me, actually going to be the bomb site here. So the bottom floor presence a little bit cheeky coming out from NJR.
Bit deceptive.
Bit deceptive, but SR have spotted it out early. They're taking a lot of map control. Top floor, basement, mid floor. They're pressuring all different angles, and it's going to make it difficult for this DZ players to group up.
And Newers has to wait out that Lion scan. It's only J90 whose attention goes towards this SR assault. Newers was spotted by a drone and is now looking for some safety over by J90. He doesn't find it. That's a twofer on the side of Rebellion. Spoid and Ambi striking very quickly. Still 2 minutes to go in the round. This is quite the leg up for Shopify Rebellion.
Just messy from DZ. You can't be affording those frags. Of course, no trades coming out. They're just a little bit grouped up in the hallway. So the window player and, of course, the other hallway player on SR able to group things up. That's the entry duo of Ambi and Spoit. Now how do you recover from DZ? They cannot sit around and wait for SR to execute 5v3, so they have to go hunting for picks. They have to start getting aggressive.
The drone work has just been so good for the Rebellion. So good. You've got lots of players active in these comms. Rexon right now droning his way through, either selfishly or to assist his teammates. I don't know if they've drone NJR into this rat spot.
I'm ready for you.
It might be a tricky one. NJR's got a good read on it. He has to watch the window, he has to watch a rotate, and the door frame. So 3 different areas for NJR to focus on. I don't know about this. I think Rexon might have an idea, Jesse.
Yeah, they clearly have some kind of a idea. Oh, it's a little lost on the clash looking down when he had to look horizontal. It's a freebie for Richie now, up to 7-1, and puts more pressure on NJR.
And NJR has to get active here. Another for Rexon. What a triumph. 4 points of the Spears for the Rebellion. Rexon, whose name has seemingly come up the least. Spoit will shut that one down. Canadian mid-plant, and it's back to business for SR as they go back up by 3.
This has been shocking, Parker. The fact that DZ have struggled so much here on Nighthaven Labs, it's not their strongest map, but it's not like it's one they never play. 2 matches so far this season, a loss to Wildcard back during the kickoff, but then beat Wildcard, got their revenge here in Salt Lake City, so they know how to play this map. This shouldn't be an unfamiliar position for DZ to be in, but they just feel a little bit lost. They feel a little bit disconnected. How many of these gunfights are going down where they're not even looking at the players shooting them back? Sometimes, like that NJR death, yeah, they're taking fair 50-50 fights, but even then, because of the drone economy, it feels like information is so much better from SR, and this is happening after you banned the Snake. This is after you've already banned Ambi's most played operator on this map. This is worrying for the guys on DZ.
I mean, if we've seen anything from Ambi over the entirety of this event, Jesse, it's that he is so flexible and he can kill you on both sides of the map. He can kill you on any bomb site. He is really a massive threat to take down. And he's well backed up by Rebellion. Again, a big stylistic difference between these teams. Lots of fragging potential on the Rebellion. There's still plenty of fragging on DarkZero, but they are more support-oriented. They're a more well-rounded, quote-unquote, team.
Sure.
We said if NJR and Newer struggle in the kill department, we don't know if there will be enough for DZ. Well, so far, their star fraggers amount to 6 kills in 6 rounds. That is just simply not going to get the job done.
Well, finally, it took us 6 rounds, but we have made it to the top floor of Nighthaven Labs. And again, this is a bit of a double-edged sword, because if DZ do win this, there's going to be question marks. Why didn't they come here earlier? They come into this with this being their highest win rate bomb site, winning 2/3 of all rounds on this site here in Salt Lake City. So they've got some history with it, but I think it's deciding before this match began that being more unpredictable, trying to throw SR off was more important. It will finally go back to old reliable. And this kind of starts to test SR too, because now you've played 4 different sites. You've had to rack your brain for different strategies. They will no doubt be prepared and have plenty of experience attacking the top floor, but it's not an easy bomb site to deal with, really.
No shields played in this entire first half by Shopify Rebellion either. That is a minor change-up for this team. So again, if you think you're a bit overexposed here, and to be fair, they don't play a ton of shields here on attack.
Yeah.
But it is still abnormal to not see it at all. You did the 6-7 hand thing, by the way.
I know, I'm sorry, but Canadian plays a lot of Monty, specifically on this bomb site, which is why it's a little strange not to see it. Favoring the Ying, this is not a brand new op for Canadian, but we haven't really seen it since April, since the kickoff when SR played this map domestically. So you're gonna have to go a little bit back in your brain if you're DZ, if you're expecting this strategy. I'm sure they will be. NJR on that Warden, probably the most important operator to counter Canadian's utility. They have to be able to take that Warden down or find a different angle around him if they want to execute off of these Candelas.
They've been running drone ops on 5 of these 6 rounds to gain more information. It has been the undoing of DarkZero as they look like they're playing a little bit too conservative with their defender forces. This is something they call out very wisely. Red after round number 2. It has not changed, but down goes Spoit and down goes Surf as well. A nice toss by NJR. Ambi is on the board. NJR will hit the deck. Newer's paying compliments there to Ambi as Rexon knows there's one behind that deployable shield. This is a good read for NJR. They've lost Kino to Canadian. Time for the Mayor to pop on up. He's got the Malusi right by his side. J90 will get Rexon in the cross. And it's Ambi and Canadian combining for 10 kills, trying to make something work. A small ego peek by J90, and that ego is well earned. It leaves Canadian all lonesome upstairs. DarkZero hoping to salvage this first half with a 4-2. The 2, of course, is the best you're gonna get. And frankly, it looks like we're screaming in that direction. Foltz will get the kill. Round number 1 ended with Canadian killing Foltz. Round number 6 ending with Foltz killing Canadian. A nice bookend to the first half, and it's a 4-2 lead for SR.
Nah, tell him, Jack.
Troy, I don't understand what that was. But who was Troy? Who were you talking about that last round?
Oh,
the last guy.
Jehovah.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
On this attack side, Volker, quite frankly, right now I want to start out clearing these guys. I think before shipping anything really cheesy, let's just keep it more so standard. Like, obviously go on the fly with it, but like, let the fellas walk out a little bit, I think. That's what I'm thinking right here to start it out.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, too, off seeing what they started with right here, I think they prep for us. They're not probably going to do the fucking AIDS bans for the clash itself, so you don't really need to worry about that, I don't think. If they do, we can do what we talked about, but I don't think they're going to do it. Just keep it pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, we could just run the Thermite Ace Thatcher, get the tools wall, get the weed wall, and then we have the Ace for inner walls. Or do we need the two more power up?
Just get creative here.
You can have the mirror.
Yeah. These guys, right now as well, you just got those 2 rounds, like I guarantee you they're already starting to think about this map. They were so pumped up to play fucking Night Haven today.
Yeah. We get this
Finally
first
got an
one, bro.
opportunity. You get this first one,
snowball.
bro.
We just snowball it, bro. We
Yeah.
just snowball it.
And if not, use it as a nice little
You're
warm.
gonna start seeing points like 2 seconds later.
Guys, for basement, they have 2 attacks that we saw. They were both essentially clears. One was just a split, one was a full clear. For this, it's essentially going to be they could bring a shield through fish, walk down with him like a sledge. Ace is going to open up the wall and then look to go rafter. Deimos can go mud, but he's Deimos, so he might float around in that area in general. Dokkaebi can go lobby or he can go 90 window, okay? So I think the biggest thing to just keep in mind there for basement is it is likely they are going to clear you. The other way they would clear is they flip the shield to lobby with Ace. They'll bring like a striker above, like maybe con side or the hatch. If he opens the wall, that is the guy who would go above, okay? And then Dokkaebi's going to go fish side. So just be aware of that. For kitchen, they basically do a Hori. They'll bring the ram above. They like to put a Blackbeard or any kind of shield outside the 90 window, so they might double up there and have a shield and like...
Cool, calm, and collected. Those are the vibes being given off by Callout in that halftime, Parker, and it really did feel like they were taking this as kind of a unexpected victory. Getting just 2 rounds, they knew that SR were coming into this confident, and if they can shake them a little bit, if they can get a couple of these round wins, they think they got a chance to pull this one back, and Call Out said it. Even if they don't win on Nighthaven, they didn't come into this series expecting to. They're treating it as a bit of a warm-up. So clearly they're confident on the side of DZ, immediately talking a bit about that clash. And as I'm seeing Nomad Capitao bands coming through, you know Canadian's gonna be loving that operator.
Yeah, and I mean, the old saying, I've said it many, many times this event, you're never in danger until you lose at home. If SR drop this map and then, like almost every team before them, drop Chalet to probably the best Chalet team in the world at the moment,
Yep.
you go onto your map with your back against the wall, and then you need a reverse sweep to get out of that position. So obviously, DarkZero trying to temper expectations, manage emotions. This is one of the best things that Callout does. He is as much a strategic coach as he's a mental coach.
Yes. Yeah, two of the best coaches in North America, no doubt here. We got the battle between Seth Hoffman versus Seth Mick. Battle of the Seths there at the Brain Trust from DarkZero and Shopify Rebellion. They've been around the block. The best two coaches, domestic coaches, I think you could say, in North America over the last couple of years. There's no real debate about that one.
We had lunch with Lagonis yesterday. How dare you say that about him?
Well, again, not domestic. Right?
No,
Fabian's
so
a
you
great
cannot
coach in
call
NA, but he's
insulting.
European. Lagonis is a great coach, but he's Brazilian. In terms of actual NA coaches.
Insult.
Okay, well, no enemy.
Jesse's just here to make enemies.
All right, all right.
That's all.
They hire me for my hot takes, Parker. That's what they always say, right?
I say that.
Yes.
I say that all the time. Both of these teams, statistically though, Jesse, better on attack. So expect DarkZero to put up a bit more of a fight. That will be the thing to keep an eye on here, is how DarkZero is able to start off these attacks.
And I want to focus in on this clash once again. Callout specifically said he didn't think they would go for these bans that are anti-clash. He didn't expect the Nomad Capitao bans, but he said if they do ban those, just do what we talked about. I wasn't in the DarkZero team meeting. Unfortunately, I didn't quite make it to that one.
Seems like I lost the mail.
Yeah, unfortunately, the invite just didn't show up in time. But we'll get to see front and center what that looks like, what their counter to the clash is. It's always going to be awkward, though. Canadian is keeping this IT wall closed. The impact goes out first to stop that exothermic. And the last exothermic charge from NJR being placed on this wall, if this gets denied, this could be huge.
It doesn't look like it'll happen. No, it opens up.
Crisis averted.
Canadian walks back a little bit. Decent timing by DarkZero now to get that wall open, and the jostling that Rebellion were doing will fall short. Didn't even really see the Thatcher be that much of a contributor to that. I think a lot of teams are expecting the Nitro cell out there, and you can blast it with that EMP. Kind of hard to do that with impacts. Pretty much impossible. So,
Yeah.
oh, a vault in. That Nitro Cell don't miss. Rex in the leadoff pick, and now it's Kino, disoriented over by Fish, completely blinded. The Snake now getting chased on down. Multiple players, but they're menaced by Canadian. Canadian didn't get either of those picks, but he is responsible for at least one of them. Now it's DZ on their back foot. They were able to close the gap with that final round in the first half. Typically, we see teams win this and close it to just a single round. DarkZero, if they're going to do that, they've got some serious work to be done in the final minute.
Feels like things have not gone to plan here on the side of DZ. Now we're at a two-man disadvantage. They're still getting caught out by these gas pipes. It's going to slow things down even further. They're hoping for a swing to come through, but it's unlikely that anybody will bite on J90 holding that E-box window. Newers up the Fish stairs, hoping for a bit of a sneaky frag. They don't know he's here.
Is he going to hit? Yeah, I'm a little worried.
Now the Dread Mine's up, though. They're going to hear him if he starts to walk through.
It's been activated. The Snake of Newers now making his presence known, shooting through the wall. DarkZero stalling out entirely, Jesse. 30 seconds have gone by, and there's been very limited movement. Newers existing over on this Fish side of the map. He's done so for so long. He'll walk up, take dry engagements with the F2. You can easily kill multiple players. He misses the opportunity. Ambi with the takedown, Spoit on the board as well. And it's Ambi to give a flawless win in the first round of half two. The Rebellion 2 rounds away from winning their own map.
And that's a statement round win, Parker, as well. That breaks an 11-round streak where DZ have been flawless on their attacks. Back during FaZe Clan, they didn't lose a single attack through maps 2 and 3, and they won their final attack on map 1. So they had won their 11 previous attacking rounds. They will finally drop one here in the quarters, semis, and finals up against SR. That's a big moment to come through from the Rebellion. Again, you kind of talk about that clash. It was focused on by Callout and attack timeout. They said they had a plan for it. I assume that was something to do with the Thatcher playing on the roof, but whatever the game plan was for DarkZero, it was not able to come to fruition. SR very confident on that top floor site. Canadian will continue the clash as we move into round 8.
2 players on Rebellion have broken double digits already. Both Rexon and Ambi sitting on identical score lines. 10 kills, 2 deaths, 1 assist. They are eating very well here in Salt Lake City. Now, I know that much of the conversation has been around two of the players on Rebellion, but them not getting enough kills. But Jesse, there's only so many kills to go around. And right now they're being funneled into the two best aimers on Rebellion as of today. It is working out very effectively. Again, DarkZero, their fraggers being overwhelmed and shut down, and there is just not enough in reserve to deal with here. Things could change. You like to say it. There's two halves of each map, but DarkZero are running out of time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. DZ need to change the game plan a little bit. They've already burned their attack timeout back after round number 2, so they will have no more lifelines. Even if we do head into overtime, they won't get a chance to talk with Khalid unless Super decides to call his tack timeout for SR, but he has no plans of doing any of the such because they're up 5-2. They're comfy, and as far as the storage bomb site goes, man, this is very similar to the last site.
And I was going to say, an added benefit of banning the Nomad in Capital, you're a zombie on Raptors can play so much freer as well. So it's not just a clash counter. It has a reverberation across this entire map. So Rebellion know that, and they're going to use that to very good effect.
And again, like some people might say, why don't you ban the Clash? Why don't you ban the Azami? But you really just can't on Nighthaven Labs. The wall denial is too important. Bandit and Kaid are so powerful to keep these walls closed, and teams just do not like to play up against that. Very common bans coming out here. Oh, Ambi. Oh,
you know Jalen's feeling good when he decides to go for an ego peek on the IT wall.
Ooh, and then he just zapped the drone, so they won't know he's there.
That's the 11th kill for Rexon. Down goes Newers. The mayor shut down. It's Ambi and Rexon again. The Ambi and Rexon show. We go round and round and round, and again, DarkZero suffering through this.
11 and 11 on the kills, make a wish. It's SR who have been dominating now throughout this map. They are so close to map point. They just need to find 3 more frags, and Canadian will continue to make this more difficult. Surf with 1 or Aquino, and it's just J90 and False to hold it down.
If this continues through this series, this might be a quick one for the Rebellion. DZ not looking like themselves. A Hail Mary through the wall. J90 will find Ambi. Could kickstart some offense that DZ is so desperate to find. Still 1 minute to go. The Clash still on the board. 2 gas canisters in pockets. Fultz taking some damage there, but his position also given away. DarkZero, with the exception of that lone pick by J90, is coming up empty-handed. They might be able to get Spoit now trapped into the corner. J90 will test his reflexes, expecting follow-up. The jiggle peek with the deagle out. Spoit doesn't really need to do anything. They can call somebody in to assist.
They're terrified. I mean, it's just Spoit with a deagle, but they don't know what's coming next. Good damage into Canadian, but not quite enough. Gets knocked back with the can there, but it's not still enough to get the frag.
HP low on the side of Rebellion. I mean, he's still got to favor them in this altercation as DarkZero are dragging this one out. They're waiting as long as possible, and they're just going to die at the hands of the Rebellion. J90's last man standing. 4 targets to find, 4 on the board, and it's Surf to drown him in labs. Map 1, we're on map point. SR is powering through this.
This has been a quick one. The Rebellion dominating on their own pick. And again, I really like the team play that we're seeing out of Shopify Rebellion, Parker. It feels like they're working so in sync in a lot of these rounds. You saw it on their attack. They were slow a lot of those rounds. They weren't getting into really early gunfights, but they were still able to work together when they did go for those picks. I thought Canadian was so critical on the Clash here in this round, really protecting his teammates as they tried to get back to site. This is brutal. They literally had him on the B's, Parker. They had a suspicion of where he was, but still Ambi gets away with a frag. Again, Canadian is able to kind of block them as they rotate back down through the lounge hatch. Faltz had a really good angle on the window, but it didn't matter with the Clash blocking that rotate back to site. So it just feels like SR, everything is going to plan.
Could you say B's on the B's?
B's on the B's.
B's on the B's. Rexon pointing to his headset, by the way. If you don't know the history behind Rexon, he is completely deaf in one ear, so he plays with sound in only a single ear. If they're coming from that direction, maybe he doesn't hear them, so
yeah,
a bit of a minor handicap, but with the scoreline that Rexon has right now, you would never know it. Outfragging Ambi, as Ambi is still, Jesse, in pursuit of the record that you said set by Solotov in Copenhagen. We checked multiple times. If anybody wants to correct us, we went directly to Ubisoft because we found a couple different numbers, and they were all over the place. So we did some actual math ourselves, landed at 203, confirmed by Ubisoft. If this scoreline repeats itself on Chalet and maybe another map, I just don't think there's enough runway for Ambi to land that. But if we go deep into map 5, there's an entire possibility we see a new record set.
Poor Ambi. 3 O's too quickly and doesn't get his kill record. What a shame.
Guys, couldn't we have lost at least one so I could have gotten it? Like, come on.
Well, both he and Rexon have been dominant so far through this first map, Parker. Rexon, again, has been incredible. He's been positive or even for the last 8 straight maps. What a consistent player he has been for SR. This whole team has been gelling all weekend long throughout this tournament. They started all the way back in phase 1. They had to fight through tooth and nail just to get to the Swiss phase. They had to fight through that as well just to get to the playoffs. And now, after an incredible run, they have the ability to do something magical win their first ever finals as a team. It could be a big moment for them. Basement here, 2 minutes remaining, Parker. All of the roamers have more or less fallen back.
I hate to harp on the numbers here for DarkZero, but nobody positive right now as Fultz suffers through an impact that was likely intended for the Boogie drone. Finds him instead. Not a lot of damage done, but still something that you have to consider moving forward. NJR holding that defuse kit means that even if Fultz was on low HP, it's not going to be the one planting the case. You don't need to worry about any errant nitro cells impacts, anything along those lines. Kino now asserting himself as he hits one of those proxy alarms. DarkZero up top on the main floor, looking to isolate these roamers from the Rebellion, and so far, they haven't really been able to do that.
Oh, Rexon, they might know he's here. They definitely will now as the shield spots him out. The impact goes forward. Kino takes a bit of damage from that, but doesn't get the shield break, so no early kill coming out. What a shot. Rexon traded out, but how does he even get one there? That's insane.
And good value from the Dogaby's already been had, so not the end of the world that J90 is in the ground. Kino on the follow-up is the best that you can hope for in that situation. DarkZero now have to outmaneuver this Rebellion team for the final 50 seconds, or else that's curtains. And we go over to Shell.
We got a Nitro being played by Surf. 3 toxic beige from Canadian. The first one just gets used here inside of Exo, so that's going to be a little bit of time denial, but the clock really isn't here for DarkZero. They need to rush through and cause some chaos. This plant is unlikely to be successful.
And Spoit knows exactly where this push is coming from. He's far enough back, and you know how he's been shooting over the course of this event. Very quiet because he's been playing a sheltered role here on this map, but he can still do some serious damage. I'm looking at Kino and NJR here, though. If they fail this one, if Canadian is unable to succeed, that just might be the ballgame. But hold on, Ambi's tucked into the corner. They don't know. Canadian waiting it out. Kino with one, NJR the other. A great entry by DarkZero. 2 remaining from the Rebellion with only 10 seconds to go. Spoit trying to find some targets. He'll do just that. Surf gets another. It's all up to Newers, but Spoit sends us to map 2. SR with the statement game to start off our grand finals.
Doesn't get much better than that. What a domination from SR. Every single player playing their role, doing what they needed to go up early in this series. They expected to win on Nighthaven, and they delivered.
If SR shows up like that throughout the course of this grand final, it might be a quick one. We'll be back with map 2 in just a couple minutes.
flag on that map. It's looking pretty good right now. What's working well for you guys?
I mean, besides like the energy, just coming in doing what we've been doing normally. So like obviously coming into this, we had to go through phase 1, 2, and now at 3. Just believing in each other and like trusting the system that we have. Just, you know, playing to win has mainly been our motto, not playing to lose. So, you know, whether it's 6-2 or it's like 6-7, unintentional, just pretty much playing to win every single round.
Bolts, it sounded like during that halftime break, you guys were saying it's a long series, it's going to be fine. Any concerns now that you've lost the first map?
No, I mean, I think they played super well that first map, but at the end of the day, that is their map pick, and I think they're very comfortable on that. But yeah, like I said, it's their map pick, and it's going to be a long day, so I'm just going to try to tell my team, you know, don't get too caught up on that map. You know, just let's get fired up for next map, and that's it.
Good luck.
As Fultz said there, it is a long day ahead, but we are now one step closer to finding out who our champions will be here in Salt Lake City. Shopify Rebellion Lax, rocking and rolling on Labs.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Rex, and he said it's the belief system. That's what I was talking about going into this series, and we got a couple rounds to display that belief system. I mean, I've already talked about SR. We need to see these explosive attacks, and their attacking half was next to none. It was absolutely beautiful. They were controlling the tempo. They were controlling the movement from the side of DarkZero, but that's the problem with playing a domestic matchup, is if you're on the side of DarkZero, you can't really play unorthodox, because a team like the Rebellion is going to instantly identify when you're trying to do something cheesy. You can't get away with it like you did against FaZe, and again, they were looking so timid on their defense.
I mean, that's a very good way to put it. When you play an inter-regional matchup, they know your quirks. They know you're going to be bringing Glass, you're going to be bringing shields, you're going to be bringing these X-Factor operators, and that's why SR was so good. They're prepared for it, and the reason why their attacks are so aggressive is the fact that they're able to set up so much information. We're talking about Ambi being able to do it day after day. Every single time, there's info all around him to know what's going on in his blind spots. So he just needs to have that confidence to focus up. But for me, the standout player has to be Rexon. He has been so consistent. He's always that player that's in the shadows, doing his best, always on the back line. And when it came to this server, he was just situationally always in the right spot to pick up those picks for his teammates. And once he gets in that position, it's really hard to get him out.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely has been, but that's the thing, you know, even in the bans, it looks like they were trying to get rid of Ambi's comfort, whether it was on the Snake, whether it was on, I mean, just a couple of the operators that they banned as a whole, but I mean, that's why we're highlighting Rexon, because any single player, especially given how well that they're playing in sync with one another, any one of these players can control the entire dynamic of a round.
They're going to obviously want to get this done in 3, but we go to Chalet next. It's DZ's pick. What do they need to do differently?
I mean, the thing is, Chalet is the map that we saw them beat FaZe on. It's one of those maps where it's a lot more aggressive. You're able to get very flexible. Those X-Factor operators are going to be a situational factor. I think the biggest thing, shutting down info. Really, when you look at SR, the main thing is their entry. They're getting those picks off of that info. If they shut that down, that's a good first step in the right direction for DarkZero.
For me, I'm gonna focus on the mental aspect side of things. I mean, no one had a good performance in that series. Someone has to step up. When you're in these moments, it feels like your backs are against the wall. It has to come down to one individual on that team to have such a dramatic round for everyone to be able to get behind, rally behind, and feed off that and gain that momentum, especially into their map.
All right, guys. How great has this crowd been, by the way?
Amazing.
Amazing.
We cannot say it enough. And normally I'm out there talking to you guys a lot more, so I'm hoping that I can come and have a word with some of the fans here. Samuel, our incredible Steadicam operator, thank you very much. Let's have a chat with some fans down here. I think we've got some family. Tell me your name and who you're here to support.
My name is Margaret, and I'm Ambi's mom.
Give it up for Ambi's mom! And?
I'm Sheila, and I am Ambi's nana.
Ambi's nana and Sheila as well. And you, sir?
My name's Danny, and I'm Richie's brother.
Oh, love it. It's a family affair here. Are you feeling confident?
100%. What?
Are you feeling confident, Sheila?
Yes!
Sorry for just throwing a microphone in your face there, Sheila. Who else can we talk to? Are you guys a couple here? Oh, cute. Guys, do you mind if I just come in? Is that all right? Sorry to interrupt this lovely little setting here. Hi, mate. What's your name?
I'm Justin.
Hi, Justin. What's your name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea and Justin. Where are you here from?
Mississippi.
Mississippi. And who are you supporting?
Shopify Rebellion.
Can we make some noise here? I always love a siege couple. You guys come into a major together. How much do you love this game?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
I'm mostly moral support, but I'm here for the whole environment and all the energy, so.
We all need a partner like you. Look, we're live. Anything else you want to say while you're here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Actually.
Oh my God, what?
Can you two just come with me, just briefly? Please, just come here. This is an incredible moment that we're all witnessing here in Salt Lake City. Come and stand right here in front of the trophy. Salt Lake City, please make some noise for our brand new fiancés! How are you feeling?
I can't believe it. Oh my God.
I'm happy. I'm excited.
Congratulations to both of you. Go and take your seats and enjoy the rest of the show.
Let's go, SR.
Let's go, SR. Well, DZ are going to look to fight back here, but Rainbow Six Siege has been full of incredible once-in-a-lifetime moments. Parker, Jesse, there's another one for you.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, one of the few things that I think the crowd can agree upon today, as they have been going back and forth with their cheers for the two teams here. Congratulations, of course, a huge moment. And now with that, we turn our sights to Chalet, a dominant map for DarkZero. Jesse, safe to say if they lose this, they are in serious trouble, and Shopify Rebellion enters up 1-0.
Yeah, there's no other way to cut it, Parker. Nighthaven Labs was a statement for the Rebellion. Chalet must be a statement for DarkZero in return. They are 2-0 on this map this season, beating Wildcard and just 7-1ing FaZe Clan yesterday. One of the most dominant matches that we've seen here at the 6 Major so far. And for SR, they've got some 7-1 experience as well. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite beating FaZe Clan. It was more like losing to JJ Blast. So different sort of scenarios.
Hold on a second, you're talking about Ballsack Nation.
Oh, of course I am, Barker. This has not been a good map for the Rebellion historically, but they would have known it was coming. They chose not to ban this map for a reason. They will have some strategies prepped to counter DarkZero.
I mean, when you don't play Consulate, that's going to be your insta-ban. So SR know that Chalet is going to come through. The right call made by this DarkZero team. Let's play Chalet early. If we flip a coin on Nighthaven Labs and we win, we are almost guaranteed to go up 2-0. This is a great place for this map for DarkZero, and really, we're going to trip over ourselves here a few times on this cast to talk about just how good DarkZero is.
Yeah.
Early signs that might be some concern for DarkZero, though, Jesse. What are you going to be looking for in these first few rounds?
Well, Parker, I'll want to see some new stuff coming out from DZ. Obviously, they've shown this throughout kickoff. They played it a couple of times. They haven't, you know, they've shown it against FaZe Clan as well. They haven't faltered ever really on this map, but they can't just rely on their old strategies. They're going to come through and they're going to start by banning the exact same operators they banned versus FaZe Clan, Snake and the Grim. And I think those are strong bans. There's no doubt about that. Snake in particular, again, an operator that plays a lot by Ambi here on Chalet. We've seen it every now and again from Rexon as well. But the Grim, not one that we see SR play a whole lot here. So it's going to be interesting to see what they want to respond with on the side of the Rebellion.
A really rough map stats-wise for the Rebellion. They are below 50% on both attack and defender win rates.
Yep.
So you are not expecting very much here from the Rebellion. And also, if we talk a little bit about the mental aspect of map number 1, this DZ team, they're cool under pressure, Jesse. I do not expect them to falter after the shellacking that they took. Usually in a best of 5, the first 2 maps really should be your strongest maps. It's what comes after that you need to be concerned with. So expect a mental reset from DarkZero.
Yeah, they talked a big game, DZ did. We heard it from Call Out in the timeout. We heard it from Faults in that interview. They feel confident despite losing that first map, but now they've got to show up and showcase exactly why they're so confident. In comes the library push.
And they're looking for something early. Great crossfire from DarkZero to shut down Ambi and Rexon. They amassed almost 25 kills back on map number 1, and they are just playing with their food on the side of DarkZero here. A good jump out from Faults as a flawless round will greet us on Chalet. Map 1 says, what?
That's the answer DZ needed. Through all of Nighthaven Labs, Faults got just 2 frags, Parker, just 2 kills on map number 1 in round 1 of map 2. He breaks that stat. A nice triple for the captain of DZ, and that's exactly the confidence-inspiring round you want to see out of DarkZero. That's exactly the statement we were waiting to hear out of this team. Shopify Rebellion, of course, trying to clear through that map, trying to get in through the top floor, through library side, and they just weren't able to find the angles they wanted to. Faults so tricky here on the Thorn SMG, jumping out the building, firing down the stairs. The 3K from the captain is so confidence-inspiring.
both said it's going to be a long day. We've said the same. Our desk has said the same. You should be buckled up for what I imagine will be a bumpy ride as we look to crown a Salt Lake City major champion. I'm very glad that the crowd obviously is something to cheer for now after that blowout in map number 1. Well, I'm looking at these numbers, Jesse, and I'm kind of expecting something similar here, right? SR are objectively better on attack on this map. So if they cannot at least muster 2, maybe 3 rounds, things are probably not going to improve when they swap sides, because frankly, I have about the same win rate defending Chalet at this event as they do.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, even for DarkZero, that stat remains true. They won every single one of their attacks on this map versus FaZe Clan yesterday. So we know how dominant they can be on the offensive side here on Chalet. We wanted a statement map to come through from DarkZero. It's still early, right? We're 1 round deep into this second map, so you don't start ringing the alarm bells just yet from SR. But even if this map does spiral, I think if you're Seth, if you're Super, you gotta kind of do the same thing that Call It was doing and say, we don't expect to win this map. It's a best of 5. It's a long series. If you can win your first opponent's pick, that's a huge boon for you in the series, but it's never something you walk in expecting to accomplish.
No, and when you look at this map pool, Bank, Cafe, and Lair, things get a bit more even from here on out. So you start off strong, you win your maps, you get some motivation, you set yourself up very effectively for the final 3 maps. NJR having some tech issues at the moment. He was very briefly told he was a naughty boy. When he tried to talk to Kino, you're not allowed to do that when there are tech pauses. These rules instituted for a variety of reasons. We are having a full lobby rehost right now, so we're still about a couple seconds, maybe a minute or so, out from getting back into the lobby.
NJR, of course, a critical player to have online in these rounds. He was the only player to come close to positive back on round number 1. 6 and 7 KD, -1 through the first map of this series.
What was his KD?
Don't say it, Parker.
What was his KD?
For the love of God, just move on.
So how many kills?
6 kills.
How many deaths?
7 deaths.
That's 6-7.
All right. He's also been the highest rated player at this event so far.
Let the people, let it marinate. Let the people enjoy it. You gotta let that steep.
They're sick of it too, old man.
They just cheered.
Okay, a couple of them.
I bet you if you were to fire up the Rainbow Six Twitch chat right now, you would see 6-7 dominate.
I feel like you're behind the times a little bit, Parker. I hate to call you out like that.
Twitch.tv/Rainbow. Oh, well, would you look at that?
NJR enters this match with a 125 EPS. Again, that is front runner for MVP of the Salt Lake City Major. He has been their best player all stage long, really. He's been such a dominant performer for them. Even going back to his time on DarkZero when they were winning the Charlotte Major, he is far exceeding his stats from that previous event. It's a long time ago, but even after such an incredible career, NJR seems to just now be peaking as a player.
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of on that DZ roster that suffered through an awful lot. But I think NJR's abilities were never really doubted, I think you could say. I think the identity of that team was tricky to really pin down. And I mean, they went through different leadership. They brought in some different players. Like, just think about the amount of personnel changes DarkZero went through. And then they decided, let's just throw the baby out with the bathwater. All of it is gone, and they said, let's bring in some different players. We'll build around NJR. We'll bring in 3 guys from Space Station. We'll add Kino, who had some contractual issues with M80. It was not a team decision for him to step off of that roster. And they've looked mighty good, and it's the best that they've looked in 4 years. And they found their first finals berth with this new roster.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast the success has come from DarkZero, but of course there is still work to be done, and as we load back into map number 2, that work will resume. NJR, I mean, you said it, he's been on this roster for over 5 years. That's an eternity in terms of esports. Vaults for a long time was the longest standing player on a single organization inside of North America, but that has changed as he moves from SSG over towards DZ this season. So lots of legacy, lots of history with these players. There are no strangers to the big light, to the main stage, but only one can come out on top. Now again, DarkZero, early lead on this second map, Parker, but they need a lot more than that.
There really is a lot of history inside of this grand finals, and more history will be written, irrespective of which of these teams win. This is just the 3rd NA versus NA matchup in official Ubisoft circuits. Canadians team has won all of them up to this point. DarkZero won one of them when Canadian was on that squad, but only one of those teams will ultimately hoist this trophy. DarkZero up 1-0 on their map. We are expecting DZ to kind of do the same thing to SR that SR did to DZ on map number 1. This is just such a good map, but Rebellion could still shock us.
slow start for the Rebellion. Parker, this is exactly how they like to attack on Nighthaven Labs as well, and this will be a trend throughout this series. They're not going to be rushing into the building and getting these early gunfights. They're happy to take their time. Their drone game was so good on Nighthaven Labs that it can be good once again here on Chalet, playing on the outside window angles. Of course, they didn't ban out that Azami, but it's not being played by DarkZero. Instead, it was the castle ban to come through from SR, and it makes things a little bit more awkward with all of these windows staying upright. Surf jumping in the building.
Surf manages to live a little bit longer than we might have expected. Rexon was looking for a cross on that upside down rappel. Only J90 will move now as out goes a grenade from Surf. Its target manages to evade it for now, but he gets Newers on the run. Surf misses a golden opportunity. He's in the middle of the site, Jesse.
Yeah, it doesn't have to fuse kit, so can't plant, but that's still massive. Now, keep in mind, top floor control is so important for this bomb site. Even with SR in control of the site, it's not favorable for them just yet. DZ have so many players up above the bomb site who can deny the plant if they start for it. But again, Canadian's still outside the building, so it will be a little bit still before we see a defuse kit hit the ground.
Drone work was a really key component of the Rebellion's attacks on Nighthaven Labs. They have not let off the gas here whatsoever. There were shields absent as well from the attacks of the Rebellion. So far on Chalet, shield play not as important. Canadian running Twitch, an operator he knows very well. Surf makes up for lost time, gunning down Fultz. You referenced Fultz's contributions in the first round. They will not come to pass now as there's 40 seconds left. Surf has not been pushed out of the bomb site at all, Jesse. He's still in there lingering.
But neither team sees much value in holding site control if you don't have positions up above. That's why Canadian pushes up the solar stairs, forced back by the smoke, and will have to go for a plant.
It might seem simple. Walk in, plant the diffuser, but that upstairs pressure from DarkZero, too strong. Kino taking down Rexon, and now a jump out as J90 gets one. Spoit trades him back immediately. Surf calling for help inside the site. Canadian, where are you in the cavalry? Surf shredding everybody. There goes the defuse kit. It's a 2v2 with plenty of time left, but DarkZero's inability to flush out the top floor will lose them the round. Spoit dies in the hands of NJR, but it was all over before that kill comes in. DZ off to a 2-0 start.
Discipline on the DZ side of things, Parker. Really solid defense, not panicking when they lose that site about halfway through the round, feeling confident that as long as they hold above, as long as they hold below, they're comfortable.
You guys hear me? Not starting with the tone either.
Okay, listen. One, let's reset. We don't need any, going back and forth is fine, all right? What I want to say to you guys is we have so many gaps here, but we have to be reactive to the gaps we have. We can't just sit there for 2 minutes trying to figure out what to do. If Dame is applying pressure site there, we need to do something to apply pressure elsewhere, okay? We can't just sit around waiting for something to happen. I want us to continue to clear traps. If we see them clear util and spread the map on them. They're reactive and you're getting gaps, okay? We need to, if we see a gap, guys, we have to be reactive to actually get to the gap or to help it. We can't sit there while one guy's fighting the whole team and everybody else is doing nothing. Together on the same page. If you have the gap, everybody go together.
Left side of your screen there, you can see what the audience is up to during the attack timeout. They're getting active, they're showing their support for their favorite teams, but I think some important words being said by Super in that timeout, Parker. Just deciding that there are not really reactions coming out from the Rebellion. They're creating pressure, they're creating gaps. There are ways for SR to work their way into the site, but they're not doing things in a lot of these moments. How long were we watching, whether it was Rexon hold an angle on the solar window, whether it was Ambi holding the angle down those snow stairs? It always felt like there was somebody in SR just sitting and waiting for a response. DZ have been too disciplined for that style of play. SR have to get reactive to find those gaps and capitalize on them.
And I think it's fair to say Chalet is a bit of a reactive map as well. Big difference between Nighthaven Labs and Chalet. Chalet is smaller. It feels smaller, at times very claustrophobic. Look at how much map control Surf was able to take, but he never got the top floor away from DarkZero. What does that do? It means you have to fear the windows. It means you have to fear the jump-ins. It means you have to fear top floor control. There's just so many things to account for because at any moment, on a map like Chalet, fighting can break out. Now, obviously, that's true of every single map, but it is especially so on maps like Border, it is especially so on maps like Chalet, and if you can see good discipline from DarkZero, and then they strike based off of poor information or poor entry from the Rebellion, they will eat you alive, and that's what we've seen through 2 rounds so far from DZ's defenses.
Well, for our third site, Parker, Bard Games is the choice, and Shopify Rebellion will bring this sends execute strategy. They ran this back during 100 Thieves early in the kickoff, and you can see DarkZero wanted to maybe capitalize on it a little bit. They are happy to get aggressive. Faltz has found a couple of big moments outside the building on this map, but doesn't find anything early on this round. Again, SR, we know exactly what their pushes like to come through. Sometimes they'll go direct in through the window. When you've got Canadian on the Sens, that is an option for you. Ambi already inside a piano too. This is, or library, I should say. This is really early control from the Rebellion. It's not being held by DZ.
I mean, maybe they want to pick up the pace a little bit and knock this DarkZero entrenched style of defense off guard. Back onto Twitch they will go. A very incredibly valuable operator on this lineup. Rexon throws himself in. J9O is Jack's mannequin. Shredded as there goes Rexon. Nikino on a beautiful refrag. Great opportunity from DarkZero, and still so calm even when things go bad.
Yeah, still, we're seeing SR get a little bit more active. They're trying to find these gaps and exploit them, but there are refrags coming out from DZ. 4v4 now. Spoit just inside a mudroom, has to jump on back. They've got control of the basement. They've got control of library. They have quite a bit of map control that DZ chose not to hold on to. They never really contested these parts of the map. So it's going to be on DZ to either flank and go for a retake of these positions, or potentially even just concede them and then stop this execute when it comes through.
And they were surveying the perimeter. As you saw that Denari tripwire established around bar, the Solus of Fultz will hit the deck as both teams kill one apiece. Neither able to shake each other for the moment. Ambi holding that defuse kit. Kills not coming as easily for Rebellion here on this map. They might be changing that now as they take the lead on round number 3. Fultz will be harassed by that death mark, leaving Newers as the X Factor, and he finds one, but he loses the duel. Surf takes care of him, and Fultz is on the run now over by Backbar. Still being hunted down, his whereabouts known by Ambi. 3 players will search for him. Sploit gets the job done, and the Rebellion are on the board.
How good has Surf been throughout this contest so far, Parker? Feels like he's always in the right position to find a bit of a gap to get things started on the side of the Rebellion, and it finally pays off in a round win for them now. He's played 3 different operators so far through Chalet, played Dokkaebi, Deimos, and the Ace, and that's expected to come through from Surf. He's played more different operators than any other player at the Salt Lake City Major, 46 different ops across the first, second, and third phase here at the Major. So he's such a thorn in your side at all times. They will ban out the Ace, of course, one of those 3 operators that he played just recently, so clearly feeling a bit of pressure with how good he's been, but even still, he will have such a wide arsenal to go through these next 3 rounds on the attack. Shopify Rebellion, again, did a really good job of finding some of those gaps and taking the space that was given to them. Again, Rexon's able to walk into lobby for free. Ambi's able to walk into library completely for free. Like, they're getting a lot of this space, and because DZ are contesting it, it makes it almost easy for SR to start colliding with these kills, to rack them up one after another.
I mean, Chalet giveth and Chalet taketh away. That's really how it works, right?
True.
If you can drone them out and put them into unfavorable positions, through the floors, through the walls, if you bring operators like Lion, like Dokkaebi, like Snake, like Deimos, a Ying, even shields are terrific on this map for roam clearing, you are in such a good position. Obviously, Rebellion have been eschewing the shields, Jesse. It is a bit abnormal. I know that we've been talking a lot about Canadian playing these shield operators, whether it be Blackbeard as part of their arsenal or Blitz and Monty being far more common. DarkZero has not needed to bring out a shield ban against SR on either of these maps.
Yeah, it's really surprising. Coming into this, 46% of attacking rounds saw Canadian bring a shield, but now through 2 maps, he's only done it once on the attacking side. That was Monty to kick off Chalet, and now as they return to that same bomb site, he won't even look to repeat. He's going to be jumping right onto the Ying, so it's clear that SR are not so reliant on Canadian playing those shields. He's still, again, maybe not the biggest contributor in the frag department, but that's okay. He's able to call, he's able to use this utility and find space for his teammates to get some picks.
Well, back to the bomb site that started off this affair, and it was a flawless win for DarkZero as they patrolled all of the main arteries of this map, especially that top floor. Rebellion were hoping for some early picks, if you recall, looking to carry the momentum that they earned in map number 1 onwards. It obviously did not end up happening. Then it was won flawlessly by DZ. Very little that we saw from DZ that looked bad, and hey, history's repeating itself. J9O and Fultz with the 2 opening picks. 2 minutes still to go. Rebellion already knocked astride as the 2 tips of the spear in the previous map right now combined for a single kill. Rexon and Ambi in the ground.
Yeah, so good. Again, this used to be a support duo back on SSG, Fultz and J9O, but they've played a much more active role since combining their forces with NJR and Kino, and it's really been paying off. These guys have incredible gun skill, and especially when they're playing together, that chemistry that's been established over years of playing on SSG has been so big for them.
Everybody getting active now. NJR with another pick for DarkZero. DZ just have 2 more to find, and they will go right back to the lead that they had prior to the start of round number 3. Spoit and Canadian often coupled together. Canadian gunned down by Fultz. Fultz having a sensational game so far. 6 picks for the captain, as it could very well be another a 4K from Fultz to give us a flawless round. SR will not get a single kill on this top floor bomb site.
That is a bomb site to forget if you're a Rebellion fan, no doubt about it. The good news for SR fans in the crowd is that they will not have to attack it until overtime if we get there. But Fultz, the captain of DZ, 7 kills across the 2 times they've played that map. Absolutely ridiculous. And again, it's coordination alongside J9O. Fultz is moving a lot on these defenses. He started upstairs kind of with Jack up in like library, like small office there, but then walks down those blue stairs for the first frag, goes back down in towards Mudroom. He's always in a different position, and he's so difficult to clear out. Even in that final frag with the C4, he only gets it because J9O is causing some problems. He's causing that player inside of library to stall out, and it's that team play that is so big for DarkZero.
Well, they've still been droning well on Rebellion, but they haven't been finding the information that they need, and it is hurting them at the moment. Again, the scoreline on map number 1, 7-2 for the Rebellion. It is widely considered to be their best map. Now we go to Chalet. DarkZero have a golden opportunity to actually beat that scoreline if this keeps going. A 7-1 is very much possible because the Rebellion, again, their defender win rate on this map is horrific, Jesse. So, if you are not able to put 2-3 rounds on the board here in the first half, the fear is that's curtains, and we turn our sights towards Bank as map number 3 with both of these teams winning their best picks.
SR chose to ban the Kaid after round number 3, Parker, and it wasn't an op that DZ brought really for the first quarter, but it's still so powerful, especially on this kitchen bomb site, because you can keep that top wall closed inside of office, you can keep the wall closed inside of fireplace as well. Like, there's a lot of good places for those flaws. Expecting a bit of a different defense, DarkZero will not oblige. They bring much a similar lineup as they did previously, with Newers lurking around that mid-floor, going for a bit of a cheeky play, but it's the blitz that's in early.
Canadian back on that shield. Down goes Fultz, but they trade it so well. Surf dies elsewhere. Twitch drone off the board. Could be somewhat integral for this defender lineup of DarkZero. Rexing gets NJR as the mayor goes for a peek. He'll be back in office next week. Advantage for Rebellion now as this action is broken out very early on. We still have yet to hit the 1-minute mark.
A strangely aggressive swing from NJR. You don't see him making risks like that too often, but he does get hard punished there on the top floor by Rexon with the DMR. So really nice to counter that pressure from SR. This is a bomb site they struggled with through the first quarter, but they've had a good answer so far.
J9O plugging holes, trying to waste time. Canadian now on the hunt, dancing around the gas. That's an embarrassing loss as Kino shuts him down. Nade lands in his lap. He dances around it, throws the gas to buy himself some time. Kino's also been able to get case control as there goes the other nade, and Kino is still surviving. This is incredible. Newers there for the assist. DarkZero is everywhere all at once. A third nade, and Ambi will get the follow-up. Finally, they dig Kino out of this position.
And even after all that time waste, SR still have a pretty good number on the clock, Parker. Over 60 seconds still in this round. They can work with this 2v2 lead. Of course, they've got lots of information. The Lion and the Deimos coming through. You're out of Lion scans, but even still, you can get some really good intel on these last couple of players. You have not quite full top control. J9O is up here, but you've got to be so careful if you're going for a plant.
Oh, and he's got the read on it. Jack seeing through those holes down below. This top floor was the main impediment for Rebellion last time. Surf sat down inside of this bomb site the previous attempt. They don't have him now. They've got Ambi and Rexon to try to bail themselves out of this position. They were terrific on map number 1. They have not shown up the way that SR has needed them. There's a fall off for Rexon with 30 seconds to go. That looked like it might have been a mistake. Maybe he wanted the late flank. A double drop on in now as J9O will hit onto that death mark. He'll find himself the mute jammer. Rexon picked off by Newers. It was a 4K from Fultz in the previous round. J9O will say, you settled for 3, pal. The round goes in favor of DarkZero. My goodness, they are demolishing the Rebellion.
What a bounce back. Such a strong round from DZ, top to bottom, Parker. Again, in that 2v2, I get a little bit worried because the Deimos tracks are there for SR, but DarkZero, they are never really predictable. Right when they start to send a player up towards the top floor on the side of the Rebellion, DZ drop that hatch, they retake the site control. Brilliant shots being hit by both Newers and J9O in that 2v2. Some big moments coming out to clutch that one up. And of course, Kino, you have to highlight his play in that round. Phenomenal on the smoke. Often thought of as one of the best SAS players in the entire world. He believes in that shotgun more than almost anybody else. And his time delay right here on the stairs, I mean, this was crazy. The fact that he doesn't get blinded by the blitz there is insane. And then he just uses that to completely dominate the rest of the round. All of SR's attack has to turn their focus onto Kino, and he just makes them pay so much.
I mean, that is a tough position if you're not coordinating very well on library stairs. I mean, those grenades had no real follow-up other than the blitz, and I mean, that's a good bet, right? You drop an anvil on his head, you've got the blitz there in tow. Usually that's enough. That was not the case. And Kino is able to survive far longer than anybody thought he would. I mean, what Kino did wasn't particularly flashy, and we're not going to really remember that round for kills on his part, but we talk about impact versus impactless kills. That is a very high impact kill from Kino, and it just about doomed the round for Rebellion, irrespective of Newers and J9O's follow-up. That's a tough spot to be in, and now the Rebellion are going to have to do the exact same thing that DarkZero did. Win the final round of this first half and hope to stem the bleeding.
Only the second round that Canadians played a shield again. We're going to keep tracking that stat. Both times now he has lost, once on the Monty, once on the Blitz. So keep an eye out if he does try to move back over towards that strategy. Is it something that DZ are just too strong at countering so far? That seems like what it is. For now, though, they'll put him on the Ying, and they'll start to go once again for this bar game site. It's a similar defense from DarkZero. They're, again, not holding inside of Library. They've reinforced the hatch, and they've instead chosen to extend throughout that mid-floor. Couple players up in sort of office too. Newers, the main culprit here, 5-1, holding the window as well. Can really get some cheeky plays, especially with J9O backing him up.
Canadian held off the scoreboard so far. He's been in more kill positions than usual, Jesse. He's just not unable, or he's been unable to hit these marks. Oh my goodness, that's a nasty one. When Newer starts to do stuff like that, you've got to be scared. He certainly has the potential to dominate a game. Down goes Fultz, down goes NJR. A good 1-2 punch from the Rebellion. Half the round still to go. J9O on the board as down goes Spoit. Canadian getting defused, gets the halfway. Where is the coverage? Trying to get to the site, shut down by the Rebellion. And now it's all up to Kino. AMB freezes him out of the bomb site. 4-2, the half for DZ. They do what they need to do here on Chalet.
Yeah, nerd. Joe was probably gonna try to play the fucking flash. Yeah, I mean, it really does not fucking matter on this map, quite frankly. Yeah. And then for the third ban, Volker, just like if we want to start like increasing the pace and moving on these guys, we can go for a Thorn too.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to. And then if it does go back to overtime right there, again, like that, you guys are doing really good the entire deep step, just right there at the very end. As soon as we float away from like the fucking spot, like they just ISO'd us again. We forgot that we banned the ice, like they can't open that sock wall, keep mine. Most people aren't gonna bring fucking EBs for that. Just keep playing.
That part they have to do that, so they don't know anything else.
Now we can do a little Shelly attack though, fellas.
Yeah, it's gonna be proper.
Oh, that'd be really proper, Junior. If you drone front door, you see there's no traps, another Abonai.
A nice display of art.
I mean, I'll do it.
Nice display of art.
I don't think I won't.
I don't think you will. Ooh, Nick Jr. on the rock.
I'm gonna do it with
and then
the door.
Volker too, quite frankly as well, like the Master, if you see like a really heavy extension, and maybe they have stuff for the ISO setup, like they're doing like the like a 50 style scheme where they have like the games area, fire, like dude playing like Ivy side office and like soul
It's
area.
gonna be slant. Kino is always gonna be on a shield, so here he'll probably be Monty. For that attack, he looked to go library double. Fultz likes to go games window, and basically they want to just clear over. Deimos is just gonna sit under in kitchen while they're clearing, okay? So Deimos will be like kitchen side under, and they're gonna go for the clear. What they will do, this is what we need to understand, is that I need us to hold our zones and fight. Do not over rotate, because if you give something up, like in their match yesterday, FaZe backed up and gave them solar. They left one person there and they flipped the entire tank, so they had none of the map, okay? We need to fight these guys, okay? We're running a lot of traps, if you notice on the strats. I want us to make sure that we're using those traps to try to track so that we can help where we need to and understand where shit's cleared, so we understand where they could be, okay?
Is that Deimos?
No.
So Snake and
Blackbeard.
Snake
Or BB. Blackbeard. Okay? That means
Listening to Super over these last couple of games, Parker, has been one of my favorite parts of the Salt Lake City Major. The experience that and knowledge that he brings into those timeouts is so incredible. Always talking about the strats that they're expecting to see from their opponents, and then a little bit just going into their own strats, wanting to play a lot of shield, or wanting to play a lot of traps, expecting some shields out of Kino, and then maybe trying to take some space as well. Aware of what happened in that FaZe Clan game earlier for DarkZero as well. So really nice coaching coming out from both players, but particularly Super coming in once more. This guy was pro back in Rainbow Six Vegas, Parker. He dipped his toes into Pro Siege when he was on Arrow, when he was on Rogue. Had to kind of start over in Sonics. I remember casting him back in Challenger League Season 9. He has been really grinding with this team. Finally brought them up to Tier 1, brought them to many different events, swapped over to coach, and now finally stands on a major final stage.
Mr. 1.6, as that was his KD for a short period of time, many moons ago, a pillar of the community, he himself. A large streamer, but you know, he's been a little busy lately, not able to co-stream as reliably because he is back in action, and I mean, that hard work has paid off. You can talk about his mechanical ability, but his mind for the game has never been questioned. And I mean, you say the same for Canadian. You've got two of the biggest brains on the same side of the stage. But as we always say with good coaches, you can coach a team, but you can't play for all 5 players, and it is really a team affair.
Well, we didn't quite get to catch the first couple of bans that DarkZero were hoping for, but clearly it's been Castle Mira, very similar to what we saw being banned out by SR. They did say after those first 3 rounds, they might want to ban out a Thorn, depending on what SR are playing. Super himself said that our strats have a ton of traps, so that Thorn very likely going to be that ban after round number 9. But for now, it stays open. Spoit will jump on the operator, and the clear will start from DarkZero. Bomb site over towards Master. It's going to be on that top floor site. You can see clearly DarkZero wanting to take this library side before anything gets too crazy.
And they're very quick to the punch here. 45 seconds chasing down the Denari. Kino gets Ambi, bites off more than he can chew. Spoit as his teammates back. Down goes Rexen. Ambi and Rexen having a tough one. There goes Spoit as well. If you read into the numbers and you think the Rebellion really are as underwater on these defensive numbers, then you can just go in quickly and overwhelm them. If that was the plan for DarkZero, it's working out very effectively. Canadian yet to find a kill. He will have to turn that around as DarkZero have made this easy. Oh my God. One of the most dominant rounds so far in this series, and DZ are now 2 away from taking their own map.
Let me tell you, Parker, defending versus DZ on Chalet is not something I would wish on my worst enemy, and certainly for SR.
For me?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't even wish it for you.
Thank you.
No problem, buddy. 5-2 now on the scoreboard, and it really does look like an explosive execute. You see the difference in pace between DarkZero and SR. It took Rebellion a long time to get in the building and get those opening picks. You said it, 50 seconds deep, and Kino gets that opening frag then in onto Ambi. At the same time, NJR did a great jump in. He actually vaulted in the mezzanine window with the Glaz to be able to get a smoke pick onto Rexen halfway through there. So some shenanigans on the Glaz. DC, a very deep strat book on this map, and they showcase it early on Chalet.
I mean, at this point, you do have to wonder if you just mentally move on to the next map. I mean, you heard exactly what was said by Callout and Fultz about map number 1. Hey, we were maybe hoping to knock them off stride on Nighthaven Labs. It did not happen. So now we turn our sights to Chalet, and we are still in a very comfortable position.
5 seconds remaining.
If I can get some copium to the SR fans, that round was what they were expecting. They expected Kino on a shield. They brought some traps to deny that shield play. It still beat them. It was still a difficult proposition. But they at least know that what they were expecting is what they're going to get against this DarkZero team. Now, there's no shield being brought for round number 8, but even still, SR have a game plan to counter this DarkZero attack. Putting that plan in practice is often very difficult, but they should still know what their plan is through these next couple of rounds. They won't be completely shook by that first defense.
What a turnaround it's been from DarkZero on the kills component as well. They were really struggling on map number 1. I think it was, you said, NJR, the closest to going positive on that team.
Yep.
Kino, the only player with a negative KD at the moment for DarkZero. I mean, the scoreline should suggest that, but just because you're even in round count doesn't mean the kills are going to be coming your way. This is a rough spot to be in for Rexen, looking to not be the first casualty here in a very critical round for the Rebellion. They flushed him out of this chimney spot. He's now going to have to tuck into the alcove here in Library as That's where the assault from DarkZero will come. Logic Bomb's following up on that Capitao arrow. This is a bit of a rough one right now as Fultz guns down. Rexon hits him with the good night in all chats. DarkZero got the start that they wanted here on round number 8.
What do you do as a response for the Rebellion? You've got to find some way to make a play, but you're being flashed out of your current positions. No swing from Spoit. He can sit just inside the mezzanine for now. They haven't really applied that pressure that they're looking to, but the players on DarkZero are all around this map. They've got Kino inside of Kitchen. They've got NJR inside of Solar. This position that Spoit has will not just be a one-dimensional push for long.
I mean, at least the gadgets from Rexon will still persist. Spoit has taken up spot in that same area Rexon was playing in, a very critical part of this map, but he's punished by J90. DZ hunting SR for sport at this point. A slower round, but DarkZero looked just as methodical as they did the time before. That calls upon the 3 remaining players from Rebellion with a minute to go to coalesce around this bomb site. Can they do it, Jesse?
They've still got 2 toxic babes from Surf. They've got some good plant denial to play around. They really need to get aggressive. That's why you see Canadian all the way over towards Basement Hall. Newers finds Ambi. The aggressive moves aren't paying off, and now it's a 2v5.
And it's Surf and Canadian yet again. Canadian still searching for that first kill. They will call upon him as well as Surf does double duty. Watching in Freezer as a nade drops in his lap. He just manages to inch away from it as the toxic gas goes out. Canadian outdueled, and there goes Surf. Another flawless round as DarkZero moves to map points. Utter dominance here on Chalet from the team in purple.
We said they had to respond with a statement of their own, and Parker, it looks like they're doing just that. It was 7-2 for the Rebellion on map number 1, and now we are just 3 minutes away from another 7-2, but this time the sides are swapped. DarkZero dominating their own map pick, just like we saw from the Rebellion. You gotta give credit to how well DZ were isolating these picks. It seemed like it was always like a 1v4, a 1v5 on all of these frags, especially early on the top floor. It just wasn't a team game from the Rebellion. They were being picked apart one by one as DarkZero were able to work from multiple different angles. I said it earlier, but players in kitchen, players in piano, players outside of the library windows too. I mean, it just felt like all the angles that DZ could be in, they were in. Makes it incredibly oppressive to play against, and SR will need to be flawless for the next 4 if they want overtime.
Well, I mean, I don't envy Fox and Laxing's job after that one. What do you pick up on? Do you pick up on the intel game? Do you pick up on the trades? Do you pick up on the map control? Do you pick up on the utility play? Because there really has been no downside to this DarkZero Chalet. They have dominated the Rebellion on both sides of this map. As we expected, the numbers show just how weak the Rebellion are on defense. DarkZero are exploiting that, and they are doing a perfect job reading into this.
And how good is Falspin as well? 10-4 here on their second map. He was the lowest rated player on DZ back through map number 1, but he's answered big time here on their own pick. It's just his second ever career event. He won the 6th Invitational. It has taken 19 straight events since to make it back to a grand finals, but Faltz has done just that here against Rebellion. You know he's not gonna let this moment pass.
Amazingly, I remember when Fultz was on that old Challenger League team with Merc and the like, and I was patiently waiting for the debut at a Tier 1 level, and now Fultz is seen as the elder by a lot of players. I am so old, Jesse, and so too is Fultz as he captains this team and gives tons of valuable experience to the rest of these players.
He was playing against Super down in Challenger League back in the days when he was on OC and Super was on Elephant Gang. It was the good old days down in Tier 2, let me tell you.
This one could be over quickly if DarkZero snaps their fingers and rushes into the site. They've already got utility pushing these Rebellion players into their waiting arms. Logic bombs go off, Bees as well, landing in the lap of Canadian is through the smoke. Kino will now hunt for something. Make a misstep in the Rebellion's round, could go up in smoke. J90 punishing Spoit. Nobody on the Rebellion able to put up much of a fight on this second half at all. Halfway point, still damage being done. There goes Surf. Canadian taking serious damage. This one just might be over already, and we've still got a minute and a half to go.
What do you do from SR? You have to be able to find a way to battle back, but at this point, map 3 just seems like it is looming in the wings. J90 already a single kill from outside the building. Why not another? Finds Canadian on a rotation, and Ambi and Rexon are left with it all to do.
Could it be another flawless round? Would this really be it? A 4th flawless round for DZ? Rexon says no. Down goes Kino, unable to stop the defuse kit, and a drop will not be had. The mayor shuts them down. They dog walk SR on their own map, and we will go to bank all tied up.
go to a best of 3 in Salt Lake City. That's exactly what these two teams expected. Dominant performances on their own map picks. Now things will start to get really tight.
Obviously not the outcome you wanted on the second map. What are you going to have to fix going into map 3?
I just think resetting. I said the same thing in the interview yesterday. It's a best of 5. I mean, we won handily on our pick. They won handily on their pick. That's honestly the way a series is expected to go. Obviously, you want to make it tougher than that, but hey, it is what it is. We knew this, we knew this series has potential to go the distance. It could be close. Now we're to the real meat of it, I guess. But yeah, good maps for us coming up. Just reset and play our game. Nothing to worry about.
Kino, you destroyed the world champs on Chalet. You now take down SR on the same map. What is it about this team that works really well on Chalet?
I don't know. Maybe our Chalet is just good. I didn't know, but apparently it's good.
And you guys are feeling good? How are overall things feeling on the team right now?
It's good. We know it's going to be a long day, the best of 5. And we're here for the run. First map, our energy was not there. We were not there at all. This map was better, so we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Kino.
Indeed, the energy is there now. As Fultz said after map 1, he knew that his roster had what it takes to reset, rebalance, and cook on Chalet and Fox. That's exactly what they did.
That's what they did. It's hilarious hearing Kino say, I didn't know we were good at that, because after yesterday's match against FaZe, I hyped up the guys. I said, congratulations. You took FaZe to Chalet and beat them. And the first thing you knew or said was, well, yeah, it's our best map.
Yeah, and I said, going into this series, we need players to come alive, and that absolutely delivered. Fultz with a big 3K in round 4. This is what was needed, and then to push it past, going into the next round. We talk about roam, we talk about being able to delay time. Kino did such a good job playing Ivy here, not only eliminating that shield, because when you look at the time, you look at the man advantage, he swings it back into an even deficit, but if he didn't get rid of Troy here, that then falls into a 4v2, and that blitz would have been so oppressive into the round, but they end up cleaning up shop and they get this round going in their favor.
Dude, Kino is such a rat. I swear, only he can do it in these situations to be able to stall so much time. But that's the strength of DarkZero. I mean, we talked about it. Going to a map like Chalet, it's a lot smaller, a lot more gritty. You can play from outside the windows. Taking space fast is the key. DarkZero does that. They're able to consume so many areas of the map, get in there, force SR to make a decision, make a play, and at the end of the day, DarkZero came out on top. They look so dominant, and I'm glad you brought up Fultz, because what a better way to lead your team by example after losing map 1 is to be the top fragger, consistently there for map 2.
I'd argue Canadians leading by example as well. We've seen him there, and his team does extremely well, so you can't count him out regardless, but I think Troy said it best. This is how a series should look. You win your map, they win their map, you reset going into the next.
Troy, the boy, said himself, Lax, that he is ready for this to potentially go the distance. If it is going to, it all comes down to this next map to see who gets the next advantage. We're going to Bank next. How are we feeling?
I mean, Bank's one of those maps. We just saw DZ play on it against FaZe. They look extremely strong. They're very aggressive. Again, a lot of the cheese ops. That's what we saw. Glaz,
that's where the
Blitz,
success came
BB,
from.
that's the success. That's something SR showed that they were ready for on map 1. It's going to be the biggest question on, can DarkZero be able to adjust without those operators?
I mean, they've both clearly shown that they're good at this map.
Yes.
Now, for me, however, I'm going to be looking at from an attacker side of things. When you look at the 2 spearheads of both teams that are going to be entering, we saw Ambi, that's when he dropped the big numbers. He dropped the 21. Then you even saw Newers doing almost the exact same thing, not in the high kill deficit, but he was opening up these rounds. So I'm really looking at these entry fraggers to find their mark, open up these rounds, and then let the rest be able to walk into the site and go for these executes.
Big picture, when you look at things overall, it feels a little bit neck and neck right now, and that is why we're expecting this to be a potentially long series. But if you had to say who's got the advantage right now, who's playing the best?
It comes down to the entry game, but I think DarkZero's got the better teamwork right now.
I'm going to have to argue, and I'm going to have to go against you and say Shopify Bellin is still looking good.
Lax, what's that?
What's that sound? You feel that? Wait, I think we're being hacked.
Oh my God!
Wait, it's gonna blow up! Listen, I'm saving myself.
Fox, are you good?
I don't think so.
What just happened? Anyway, one thing that's for sure, we need to get back into this
Absolutely.
grand final. We're getting back to Jesse and Parker. Guys, kick it off on Bank.
Well, thank you very much. I gotta say, I think killing an analyst is a first for our esport, but I mean, hey, sorry, Fox, I guess you're the one who drew the short straw here.
That's honestly on me. I thought I'd give him a little bit of a call, say, hey guys, your analyst segment's doing great. I guess it popped up the dope thing. It wasn't meant to be such an explosive call.
My Korean's a little bit rusty, but isn't Dogomi something about an imp? Jesse, you are a little impish as a human being, so I mean, it does make an awful lot of sense. You might want to lay low, though. They are looking for you. You're wanted for murder. So.
All right, well, hopefully Fox can put himself back together for the second analyst segment after this map. But for now, Parker, we've got to load into Bank. And some would tell you that we're already 40% of the way through this grand final, but I would argue it is just getting started. The way these best of 5 goes, you get ban, pick, ban, and then only 3 maps remain. While this is technically going to be the pick of Shopify Rebellion, both of these teams banned maps out, and so we got just 3 maps left in the pool. So we expect both teams to be very comfortable on all 3 of these next maps.
Absolutely, and I think we're gonna have a pretty good show of this. As you said before, Chalet was fully over. It's a best of 3 now. The advantages are gone. It just comes down to map pools. So buckle up. Sit tight, go maybe get some beverages. It's, Salt Lake, get a little thirsty. Salt probably doesn't help. Make sure you're grab some soda. That's all the rage here. And prepare yourself for Bank, as one of these teams will move to series point with a victory here on Bank. And then it really just comes down to, does that same team carry Cafe for a 3-1 victory?
And Parker, it's not every day you see a Tachanka ban in Rainbow Six Siege, but that is respect being shown to one man and one man only. NJR is without a doubt the best Tachanka player in the world. It's his most played defensive operator here at the Salt Lake City Major. He has a 64% win rate across all maps when playing that operator. He is so good when it comes to shooting those fires. So SR say, let's just get rid of it. We'd rather deal with him on the smoke. He'll be playing a very similar position, starting in elevators and then backing off to play the site with those toxic babes to waste some time. But keep an eye on NJR. If he does struggle a little bit, losing that LMG and losing that primary gadget could be part of the reason why.
This is a massive map. There will be lots of isolated engagements occurring on all portions of these bomb sites, whether it be the top floor, whether it be the basement, which is where we are looking right now for round number 1. Expect there to be quite a bit of pugilism as these teams will come to blows. One of the things that really benefited Shopify Rebellion back in map number 1 was their drone work. That will be even more important here on this map. If SR are incapable of using intel correctly, they will be at a disadvantage. And dare I say it, Jesse, the team that uses intel best probably will be the team that ends up winning this map.
Yeah, and of course, Ambi and Spoit are going to be 2 intel operators that we typically see. Ambi over at the IQ, so changing things up a little bit. Usually we'd see him on the Snake for this bomb site, but not unusual to see that IQ instead. Of course, we'll come through to counter that Echo, so lots of utilities still being countered out. This really is not an aggressive hold from DarkZero. They're happy to sit inside the bomb site. We started with Newers inside of open area. We started with NJR inside the elevators, but all of them had hatches that they were able to quickly drop back down to site. So not a surprise to see this one start so slow, but it'll really come down to the execute of the Rebellion. They've got the Hibana. All the hatches should be open with no problem, but you're looking at this site and you're seeing yokai cams, you're seeing C4s, you're seeing toxic babes. Like, there's so much utility in the site, so you've got to start with some man advantage, and that is not what they wanted.
Well, you say Kino's a good SAS operator. They've passed one of those 2 over to Jack, and the first pick here on Bank will come in his hands. Kino now on the run as Canadian was breathing down his neck. It's been about 40 minutes since Canadian was able to get a kill again. Not integral for the Rebellion that Canadian gets some frags, especially on this map, where he's going to be playing a lot more shields than we saw on maps 1 and 2. They've got a yokai cam on him. Canadian is in a very vulnerable position, and this might be a great kill opportunity for DarkZero.
Yeah, they were able to EMP the yokai, but Kino doesn't care. Hits the head of Canadian instead and finds that body shot frag. Now it's a 2-man lead.
Newers has to survey the hatch above his head, but was also looking over towards blue stairs, and maybe a bit of a step back for this DZ defense as they will reposition Echo's drone. Nade goes in, Kino flushed out of that position, right into the arms of Rexen. Good coordination. Rebellion still trailing numbers, 30 seconds to go. There goes the yokai drone in that same position. So integral to give information to DarkZero. They will be flying a bit blind, but J90 will go for a full flank. What damage can he do? Rebellion have their hands full. Ambi takes down Newers. They're boxed out of the bomb site. Rexen holding the defuse kit. A surprise looms for this Rebellion team as they will incur some damage. J90 still on the hatch. DarkZero not letting up after Chalet. They open Bank with a successful defense.
I theorized that maybe the Tachanka ban would set NJR back a bit, but he is better than that. Plays so well on the smoke there, Parker. You saw him delaying that plant for so long. They didn't really get to start it until there was maybe 5 seconds left in that round. hit some beauty SMG-11 shots to close that one out too. Of course, you start with this 2-man lead coming out from these extended players, J9O and Kino, but even beyond that, it felt like a perfect round from DarkZero, where the early game went their way. They didn't lose anybody on that very small roam, and then when it came down to the final seconds, I mean, 5 seconds is not going to be enough for SR to make an execute go through. Certainly not with a flank on the top floor, certainly not in a 2-man disadvantage.
Well, I mean, you just got to mentally reset again. When it comes to experience, we worried the DarkZero maybe had a bit of jitters on that very first map. Obviously, they shook it off for Chalet, business as usual. Both of these teams slugging on their favored turf, winning 7-2. Now we go back to SR's map pick, and things get a bit more usual here on Bank, Jesse. Typically, you're going to start on the weak side. That means DZ wants to defend on this map. That gives us a good idea of what the goal is for the Rebellion. The Rebellion? They probably want to win 2-3 rounds, but that is the high water mark for this map on their side.
Yeah, I would say honestly with these two teams, like, Bank maybe slightly leans defender-sided, but these two teams are both very good at attacking, so you really think 3-3 or 4-2 in either direction is fine, and I would expect that. If we get to a 5-1, okay, the panic alarms start to ring, but DZ win their primary bomb site, that shouldn't be alarm bells just yet for Rebellion fans. They'll get a second opportunity when round 4 comes through, but of course for the second round, we will move upstairs. This is where DZ likes to try to defend with a little bit more presence. They've got Fault back on this Echo, who can try to use this information to enable some early picks coming the way of DZ. But SR, look at this lineup that they brought as well. The Rara from Rexon, the Glaz from Spoit, Canadian on the Ying. This could be a really messy execute when they do get down to it. Not that I think it'll come so soon.
And that New Zealand operator is saw a bit more play after some changes during the mid-season, but the pick rate has fallen off. On maps like Cafe and Bank, way more opportunity to isolate these defenders, and that's exactly what Rexon will do outside. 2 of those gates have gone, trying to box in these players. Ambi, the first kill, Full Answers back, Surf on the board as well. Shield in the hands of Service. There's NJR and J9O, and they've turned this round on its head. A very quick entry for the Rebellion. We're not even at the halfway point, and it's been rebuffed by DarkZero.
Surf's entry was excellent, but his whole team fell around him. That's going to be the big problem. Now they're in a man disadvantage. Nice find. Surf just flicks around and finds the head of Fault. Evens things back out 2-2, and Rexon and Surf are in a really good position. The fuse kit is inside the site, so it should be easy to recover.
Oh, 6 kills between NJR and J9O, the 3-letter duo on this team, holding down the bomb sites. They'll have to retrieve the diffuser on the side of the Rebellion. They have plenty of time to do that. And early action has now made way for this ceasefire between the teams, as there's Rexon now planting the diffuse kit. Worried about over towards Paper. That's NJR waiting in the wings. Rexon will have to rely entirely on Surf, but J9O is an unknown variable. And there he is, Rexon trusting Surf. That trust seemingly misplaced. Blackbeard will have to put the shield and the team on his back, as both NJR and J9O immortal up to this point. 40 seconds to see if Surf can break that trend. Now behind the desk with the case down, shield on his back. NJR swings around, buying time. Off the diffuse kit, Surf will go. Finds the Thorn, good information. Giving time for J9O to reposition, but he doesn't want to. He's holding this cross. The moment that he attempts to defuse, they fall in, then they fall out. Quite a rhythm here now as Surf will attempt it for the 4th time. Up against a hard wall, he manages to get it down, and they crossfire it perfectly. J9O gets the kill, an easy counter disable, and DarkZero continuing their reign of terror.
NJR and J9O have for years been thought of as so clutch, and it'll force attack timeout out of SR.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, with this Echo, guys, we need to be running Dokubi. Okay? They're using that for the info to get aggressive on us. If you notice, they're playing very bunkered and just waiting for us, and they're acting up the Echo. I think we can third ban that. If we do third ban that, I would expect maybe a Mira, Clash, or both, okay?
I think we just do the mute, because we have all the ops for it, and the...
Okay, that's fine, but
I mean,
if we want
to... Doke, but...
That's fine, Troy, but if we want to do that, I think we need to be running Doke for the rest of this game.
Yeah.
Guys, thing here is, again, they're playing bunkered, they're looking to retreat, or they're just standing their ground waiting for us to push in across it. So we need to make sure that we are establishing what we need, like that last round. The whole take is based off Will walking Glass main lobby. We have Ash, we didn't clear the BP. Make sure we're helping each other and calling what we need to do, okay?
Okay.
Let's go.
Sounds good. Keep it, guys. Come on.
A lot of that timeout focused in on the Echo, which has been played so well by the captain of DZ. False has been really running this operator to great success, and Super said it. They've been using this Yokai drone to get aggressive, to force some early frags, to favor the defense on the side of DarkZero. And again, if you can get things messy on the side of DZ, that is always going to favor you because they have some of the best late round players in the entire world. Fans have been asking for years of what it would look like to see NJR and J90 on the same team. When it comes to late round clutch players, there are almost nobody in the world who are as good as those two. So you put them in a 2v2 situation and they're going to be favorites every day of the week. I thought they played that 2v2 so perfectly. Parker, of course, never giving up a free pick. Even in the 2v1, they only went for the swing when they were both there together. They didn't give up any opportunities to equalize that man count to a 1v1, and that's that late round consistency that we've expected from DarkZero throughout this tournament, and is showing up again here in the finals.
When you've got Canadian in a matchup, he's going to eat up a lot of the air when it comes to leadership and the conversation around it, but I feel like we're doing a bit of a disservice to not highlight how good and how critical these comms are for DarkZero. They are always in control. Even when they're losing, it still looks like they have an idea and the right way about tackling a problem. On Chalet, it was immediately evident. On Bank, it's becoming even clearer. This is a team that is really trusting each other, and that last round showed how perfect it can be when you've got two players on the exact same wavelength.
One thing Super wanted to see was he said, if we're not going to be banning the Echo, we need to run Dokkaebi for the rest of this match. That's why Ambi's immediately jumped on this operator. Usually on this bomb site, you'll see him either on the Snake or even the Nook. He likes a little bit of sneaky Nook play on this bomb site, but is forced to go over to the Dokkaebi. Now, there is no Echo being played by DarkZero, but you just can't risk that anymore if you're SR.
And it's going to be a quick one. They take control of Square. There goes the buck of Spoit marching in. Spoit has been very quiet so far today. They will need a big game for him. Surf on the board. Canadian outdueled another from the glass of Surf, powering this team forward. Ambi and Rexon were the star of the show. There's Spoit now for another. Rebellion have two more bodies to find. Shotgun versus shotgun. You don't usually see the Skeleton Key out winning against that SAS shotgun. Now it's Newers on the run. Half of the round to go, right to the arms of Ambi. A big bounce back round from Shopify Rebellion to get on the board.
Really nice push there to clear through the top floor, Parker. What I like about that push is you've got the short range and the long range working together. From all the way back at the top of Square, it was Surf on the glass. He was finding those long range picks. He was doing some really good work, trading out Canadian after he went down and finding that opening pick. And then Spoit, the other S player on Shopify Rebellion, able to just run in with the Skeleton Key, get a couple of crazy picks in the midst of that push as well. You mentioned it briefly in that moment, Parker. The pace being set by SR is really nice to see. Again, they didn't have great pace coming through that first couple of rounds. That's largely due to the bomb site. It's really hard to have a fast-paced push when they're defending on the basement and they're not going for a roam game. But if you let SR take control of the game in the early moments, I mean, that can be where they thrive. DarkZero, one of the best late-round teams in the entire world. But if SR can get more of these early fights, that could start to favor them.
Of course, let's also not overstate what we saw from the Rebellion there. That is the tertiary site for a lot of teams.
Of course.
You've got the basement and you've got the top floor as your two reliable places. So as we saw back in map 1, as we saw in map 2, a 4-2 scoreline at this point is looking most likely. And again, knowing what we know of the map, knowing what we know of the teams on the starting sides, DarkZero and Shopify Rebellion are setting us up perfectly for that when the second half arrives.
Yeah, I would say this game is still neck and neck. Even if DZ win this bottom floor bomb site, I still feel like it's pretty neck and neck because SR will have those opportunities to bounce back on the secondary and tertiary bomb sites through rounds 5 and 6. But even still, the dominance of that third round has to be applauded on the side of SR. Once again, they will not choose to ban out the Echo. This is something that Troy said during that timeout. He said, I'd rather ban the Mute because we've got the tools to deal with the Echo. The Mute is something that we don't have as many tools to play with, so they will continue to run this Dokkaebi. It will probably not be swapped off for the rest of this half, but now with the Mute not on board, they can start to play a little bit more aggressive. The Havana can start to be a little bit more effective with these long-range hard breaches coming through too, so good tools from the Rebellion. And again, Parker, we have a relatively passive hold playing by DarkZero. Newers and Faults maybe a little aggressive on that mid floor. Newers just inside a cafeteria to start things off, so there could be a moment where they want to get aggro, but always got to be so worried when you try to roam on this map. It can be really difficult to survive with your life.
Spoit is in a position where if they are not aware of this, he could cause some real chaos amongst the ranks of DarkZero. Still waiting for Ambi and Rexon to devour these games. We mentioned that if things go all to plan for SR, Ambi could break the kill record at the Major. That is still possible, but he has very much fallen off since game number 1. I mean, all of the Rebellion have. Frankly, it's not unique to just Ambi. Oh my goodness. No way.
It's a floor below.
I know.
Okay. It can be tricky with Snake sometimes.
I have eyes. I'm aware. Thank you.
Sees the retreat, and that's just going to be the reset coming out from DarkZero. They don't want to fight again early on that roam game. It was a little bit more aggressive than I think back in round number 1, just with Faults and Newer's positions, but they fall back towards the site. And now Kino kind of becomes that first line of defense. He's been playing those server stairs, and when he's on the shotgun, I said it earlier, Parker, one of the best SAS players in the entire world. He can be so difficult to root out from that position.
And it was J9O on the mute who contested that part earlier. Obviously, with the mute ban, they've had to change things up on the way that DarkZero guards this important avenue to the bomb site. Blue is one of the most hotly contested parts of Bank when the bottom floor is under watch. They struggle to get Kino out on Chalet in an area that is the exact same name. And oh boy, they might just be struggling again. Kino's got the stack up for 2 kills on top of Blue. He will dig 1 grave. Ambi and Rexon are down. There's Spoit finally getting Fultz. Canadians only got 2 kills in this entire series. He's hoping to go higher than that. The fire will not really move Kino out of this position. It will buy some time as now they loop around. Final 30 seconds here, and there's a lot of work to be done for the Rebellion.
They got to give it up. This is a pivot. It's been too difficult to clear Kino, so they all head in through the back, but they're not finding the kills.
The old dog can still learn new tricks. Canadian in a 1v2 with 15 seconds to go. He'll have to get Surf back up. This is a decision made by Rebellion.
10 seconds left.
Running out of time. Kino and J9O now just waiting ever so patiently. Canadian flattened by Jack, and he gets them both. Basement, very familiar territory for DarkZero. They're up 3-1.
Nice try by the Rebellion to try to pull that one back. Unfortunately, as you said, Parker, that bottom floor site just way too strong. Kino, no doubt the MVP, clutching up on those stairs. He is so important in that position, so difficult to try to clear out from that spot. Was playing it on the Warden back in round number 1. He loves those blue stairs and will continue to be one of the best in the world in that position. I like the, again, attempt coming back from Canadian. The call there to try to pivot away from those stairs after you throw the Capital Bolt. It almost fakes like you are still trying to clear it. These 2 kills so beautiful from Kino, but then you completely pivot. You try to hit the back. They actually were racking up the kills with Canadian finding a big one there and Surf 2 with the SMG, but ultimately J9O so clean. How many times do I gotta say it? Him and NJR have been insane in the late round.
Absolutely, NJR, one of the best mailbox operators and players. It's a term that is used quite frequently by our good friend Mint, who joined us for a TriCast on Friday. Mailbox meaning cut, cross. A lot of people used to refer to it as canine, a spot just where you sit there and you hold an angle. That's it. Don't do much else. It's a very important spot. It can be towards the bomb site. It can be looking at the bomb site. It could be on flank watch. It really depends on the map, the bomb site, and the numbers as well.
So this is where the real test starts for SR. You're not expecting to win a whole lot of those first rounds on Bank, but now you're getting a second look at that secondary bomb site, and you'll go to the 3rd bomb site after this as well. What worries me, Parker, is in that attack timeout, Super spent so long talking about the Echo, talking about how they were going to counter that operator. DarkZero haven't run it since. They have not brought that operator back out, so it starts to be a little bit cautious. If you're SR and this doesn't go to plan, you no longer have that final tool to try to pull things back and get the momentum back in your favor. With the mute ban, they can likely open up that Kanto wall with relative ease. J9O is playing that position, of course, with the bandit batteries, but they've got players all around these windows. They've got still lots of utility to try to flush these players out. Ambi downside of main lobby. There is nobody roaming below the site, but that doesn't mean there can't be somebody who flanks down late.
Setting traces thermal touch. Activating drone.
Break glass in case of emergency. Ash being brought out, an operator that a lot of old heads will be remembering fondly from the early fragging days. Ambi may be hoping to kickstart some offense. Now, Ash is more of a utility-based operator these days than she used to be. But I mean, if you need explosives, she's one of the best. What do you bring, Sophia? That's silly stuff.
Well, it's good for the Azami. It's good for the castle in particular here on this site. So you do see a lot of util being used currently by Ambi. His 5th most played operator here at the Salt Lake City Major. 90 seconds deep and no real action coming through. SR have taken some good map control. They've got Surf over towards Square, and of course they've got that lobby control and control down below the bomb site, but they don't start finding picks, Parker, I'm worried about the late round again.
I mean, SR has been very slow on attack time and time again. Spoit gets dealt with by J90, the savior of the previous round, starting off strong. 10-1 for J90, by the way, quietly amassing an incredible amount of kills. There's Canadian to take care of Fultz in and amongst the smoke. Canadian will double his kill total at this point in time as Serp misses a golden opportunity to Kino, fixes his mistake. Rexon there for the follow-up. Canadian looking for defuse kit. Serp finds two, and a team kill is one of them. Oh my goodness. J90 to the rescue, and suddenly things going really poorly for the Rebellion. Canadian in a 1v3. Under fire as he now turns to head back up to the bomb site. He's got a good idea. Does he have the aim? He's picking away, a tough shot to be made with this Reaper. I mean, one shot's all it really takes. Inside a conference room now, looking to hold a meeting for this team. Circles around and it's J90 again! 4-1 for DarkZero. Chalet looking a lot like Bank, Bank looking a lot like Chalet. Jesse, I can't tell the difference between these two.
Oh, it's a massive round coming out from J90 from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. He has been so big for this team and once again puts in the work in round number 5, just able to solidly shut down that push. And for DarkZero, right, coming up against SR, it was a multi-dimensional push. You saw SR players coming from square, from below, up lobby stairs, and it kind of left Canadian very isolated. After you kill those window players and after Ambi dies right here, Canadian is all by himself walking up the lobby stairs. And sure, he wins his 1v1 versus Fultz, but he's got no teammates to play with. He's got the defuse kit by himself. Even with site control, his teammates aren't able to play the objective to put the defuse kit on the ground. J90, 12-1 here through 5 rounds on Bank. That is unbelievable.
J90 was the highest rated player on DZ towards the start of kickoff. I can't remember exactly what day it was, but Kino was at 1.2. Again, it just goes to show you the depth of this DarkZero team. Anybody can step up when needed.
Yeah.
And I mean, the big criticism that we had was if NJR and Newers are not matching Rebellion blow for blow, is there enough from DarkZero in the remaining 3 players? Well, Fultz had a terrific game on Chalet. Now it's J90 saving the day here on Bank. I don't even want to say saving the day. There's no danger for Dark. There's nothing to be saved at this current point in time. He's helping them punish this Rebellion. So it's those auxiliary players, those support players that are often criticized for not helping out that deserve all the praise on this DarkZero team.
We need to see some bigger moments from SR. We are really approaching the must-win territory. If you go down 5-1 on attack when both of these teams favor the offensive side, you start to get very concerned with what the rest of this BO5 looks like. Rexon on 1 frag, of course, Canadian on 2 as well. I mentioned Rexon came into the series with 8 straight positive or even maps. Was positive on that first map as well, so that would extend his streak up to 9, but negative on that 7-2 loss and negative now here today. They need something more.
Canadian off to the races. Ambi just behind him as the bullets go on through. The jig might be up there as out goes one of those F-Knots. Now a drop on down. Ambi surprised by NJR. The flank will now also put Canadian in a really tough spot as he shot through the wall. Newers out-dueling him. This is a great read by DarkZero, and while every half has been 4-2, DZ have set themselves up so nicely for our first 5-1.
13 for J90, he's on the precipice of it, finds a player, but doesn't quite find him through the wall, will drop back down towards the site, so that top floor conceded now to the Rebellion, but this is still not a favorable position. Everything SR have tried has been perfectly countered by DZ. It's attempted a fast rush in through lobby from Canadian, but they immediately were behind him. Newers vaulted over the lobby, started to get those back shots straight into Canadian, and you start to get really scared at this point. They have to retreat to plan B, they have to clutch up a 3v5, and frankly, Parker, they're starting to stall a little bit.
Well, I mean, you lost your Blitz, you lost your Dokkaebi. This was a go for broke strategy, and broke seems to be on the menu for Rebellion at this point. I mean, how do you course correct? Diffuser is miles away from you. It likely is being watched by these DarkZero players. It's in an adjoining part of the map. And hey, how about that? A backstab from Spoit. His position is given away by that F-Knot, but as long as they trade, DarkZero will be in a beautiful spot to send this one away. Doubled up by the remaining DarkZero players. Rebellion has their work cut out for them. There's Newers playing with impunity. Spoit will collect a kill onto Fultz. The only person able to find frags so far on this Rebellion round. I don't know if I like this position for Spoit one bit, especially since he's given his position away, heralding his rival to the bomb site. He'll pick up the defuse kit, twitching around, but running out of time. Down goes Newers. All hope now rests on Spoit, but there's J90 again! A walloping delivered by DarkZero on the first half of SR's map. DZ are up 5-1, and there is still so much time to go in this map for them to seal the deal.
Holy shit, dude. Sorry.
Give me a second. Listen, on the basement side, if we, fellas, detach, listen. On that basement side right there, if they fucking are doing their own, remember what we talked about? We can do Junior on the Twitch, we can throw it as a light in while you take it knock. And through the lobby side, like take your Twitch drone, throw it across the map, then go to the D-box side. If we need to kill the blue guy, Junior can use S&I, you can try to cross in that, but in general, Kino and Bulker, if you see that, I want you guys to go fuck that guy on blue stairs and just go straight to side.
They have the...
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna keep talking. You can talk anyway. Listen, on the if they're doing the anchor and they're doing their fucking blue stairs extension with the clash inside of server bulker, we're gonna take the Thatcher anyways. We can fuck that dude. Like you can take the Ying paired with the Thatcher, and then we can literally just Ying the shit out of him. Thatcher, so we can't clash shield. We can drop down and crank that guy. Just pop the main hatch first, because otherwise.
If caps up, can I just double cap him too?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you
okay,
can.
just EMP.
The only reason I was saying the Ying is because we can also Ying blue stairs off that as well. Like we can use the Thatcher for ward dogs. We can do both.
Yeah. Okay, I like that comp.
Yeah,
you
just
blitz better.
No, not. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be on the Ying. You could also take the shield if you want to go for like the Blackbeard plant, whatever it is, or fucking blitz. Yeah, whatever. But in general, just kind of read
on execute, Deimos goes main, sense red hatch, IQ site hatch, Grim and shield and server. Guys, every attack I saw from them, they tried to finish server. Okay, so that's one thing we need to make sure. When the second time I saw them clear for that, the only change was that they went Grim to cap and IQ to striker. Literally same exact execute positions, okay? So again, look out for that. Doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but if that's what we think we're setting up for, think about those positions, okay? For CEO, they do have a square take that they were doing with Glaz. Callie sits on the main lobby repels. They won't be able to do it really here with the Glaz. They could still try to maybe do it with the Ying. For that, he repelled in to just try to basically push. Nomad was top square. Thermite opened both the square walls. Fultz like literally sat outside stock, just flashing curve. They repelled in and they just try to play like basically to get aggro while they were planting behind, okay?
What type was that on the last one?
That's CEO. That was the only attack I saw from them. On open, Sledge plays CEO repels.
When the going gets tough, that's when experience can make the difference. And there is nobody in NA more experienced than Shopify Rebellion's captain. He's won 2 hammers. He's won a major in the past in this very country. He knows what it takes to dig deep. He will have to channel that resilience. Down 5-1 now versus DZ. Lots of strats being spoken by both Callout and Super in that timeout. Lots of words being exchanged between both really Callout and his players in that one, where he says, listen, I need to control the mic for these 2 minutes. There's a lot to tell you guys, a lot of ideas that I can put into your heads. This is going to be a tough half, Parker. There's no other way to cut it. DarkZero enter this matchup as the best attack team in the tournament. They have been dominating, winning 68% of their attacking rounds through the tournament so far. They will need to be held to just 1 if SR want overtime here on map 3.
Yeah, a really staggering set of numbers for DarkZero on this map and just in general. I mean, we expected this to be a close one. And map number 1 maybe gave some false confidence to the fans of Shopify Rebellion, but this DZ team has played without many weaknesses through much of this tournament. They stunned us all yesterday in order to get here by destroying the world champions. Very few people had them toppling FaZe Clan, and yet they were able to pull it off. It's a bit more of a heated rivalry between Rebellion and Twisted Minds to get to this point. But I mean, hey, DZ and SR, it's a great matchup on paper. We need SR to play better if we want that paper matchup to actually materialize in the present, because right now, DarkZero are marching their way to another major championship on North American soil.
This round is going to tell us a lot about how this second half is going to go, Parker. Shopify Rebellion get to play the best side on the map. They get to go down towards the bottom floor. They have the most minimal amount of bans they're going to have on this bomb site throughout the rest of this series. They lose the Tuberau, they lose the smoke. That's okay. They move Surf over to the Tachanka. I talk about NJR as the best Tachanka in the world. I still back that, but Surf is incredible on this operator as well. Very used to playing with the Shamika launcher, so we know how good he can be in this position. And Canadian back over to the Clash. This was something we saw a lot from him over the last couple of maps. He's very confident here with this operator. Won't be taking any early gunfights, but can maybe shoot some drones, maybe cause some panic early on the side of DZ, and then can rotate back over towards server if he wants to, try to hold on to that space and help his teammates to slow down this round.
I know that we focused a lot on Canadians' kills, but the one person I want to touch on that needs to really step it up is Rexon. 13 kills in map number 1, 4 kills since. That is just not going to get the job done. And while our concerns about DarkZero's fraggers were very real, I think we've messed up the teams here. Our concern about fragging is now on the side of the Rebellion. Kino now on blue stairs, a familiar spot for him when he's defending. He'll get knocked away by the taser of the Clash. Rexon menacing. How do you lose that?
Oh, that shotgun, it is not the greatest gun in the game, Parker. Probably brought it for the rotates, but unfortunately it doesn't go exactly as he wanted playing against Kino. Now Canadian, he's left without a teammate. He's got to fall back and try to play closer to sight.
And Newers has a really good opportunity to jump on Spoit, as Canadian now needs to wander back. DarkZero assembling their forces over here, and down goes Canadian, waiting for the call. Spoit will likely slip up. Here they come. The cavalry has arrived. DarkZero need a single kill, and they will find it to move to match point here on Bank. Can you believe it?
Stunned. Shopify Rebellion looks stunned in this final, Parker. Back-to-back maps now. They have gotten 3 rounds over the last nearly 2 hours playing versus DZ. This has been a disaster of a turn of events. The last couple rounds both felt like they had to be must-wins. They didn't win on their primary sites. Even with that opening pick going the way of DarkZero, it felt like they had the control. It felt like they were still able to win through the 4v5, but what counters were coming out from DarkZero? You saw them bash away that Clash, doing a great job to apply pressure to Canadian. This play from Kino, one of the best shield players in the entire world, and you gotta look at the Clash of Canadian, maybe a little bit far back, maybe a little bit passive when he could have been up helping Rex at the top of those stairs, then just through the smokes. I mean, it's a massacre coming through towards the end here. Fault a couple of big kills to get to even in round number 7. J9O 13-1. It just doesn't get better than this.
An unbelievable showing from this DarkZero team. People who did not keep such a keen eye on the North American League kickoff might forget that this DZ team went into the playoffs undefeated. And then some of their weaknesses got exposed. Wildcard gave them a serious run for their money. 5 Fears did as well, and DZ emerged as a team that maybe didn't look as strong, or so we thought.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just saving some of the gas in the tank for this exact moment, and the longer that this series has gone on, as longer that this event has gone on, DarkZero has made steady improvements. And I mean, you'd be forgiven if you said this was DZ's map. This is SR's map. There is a high likelihood we go to Cafe with DZ sitting on series point.
How big do you think Fresh's smile is right now on his coach?
Oh, shut up. In our group chat, Jack was like, DZ winning the major. And then obviously when they struggled against Wildcard, I was like, yeah, no, they're not. And when they beat FaZe yesterday, Jack just went back and like necro posted, and he's like, just update.
Well, they're not done yet. 6-1 is still something you can come back from. A Canadian will start us off strong. Shotgun frag right onto Newers, shut him down, now 4 and 6. Open area is the bomb site, but the top floor is always going to be a heavily contested area. Kino jumps in now. He's the one with the defuse kit. Still a couple of Rebellion players up on this top floor. It's going to be Ambi and Rexon trying to hold this down. When do they drop?
The standoff now is Rexon's the intended target. Pivoting over, and there goes a Nitro Cell tossed so well. There goes Kino. Rebellion need anything to keep themselves in this series. 3 more kills will buy them some time, but this team looked like they were in free fall. They managed to turn it around here on this defense as Ambi will find a kill of his own. J9O and NJR have made magic happen on this map, but not against the odds that they currently face.
If anybody would win a 2v5, it's these guys, Parker.
It might be the start. They take Rexon down through that conference wall. J9O with the secure. NJR following up on the flash. 1 minute left in the round. J9O trading out Ambi. There's another now over by the bomb chassis, but there's Spoit for the assist. Holding over towards Archives, leaving J9O in a tough spot, and Surf will send him away. Still life for the Rebellion, but they're losing forces. Quite the hill for them to climb. 4 rounds back of DarkZero.
Crisis averted. The two best clutch players in North America shut down in that 2v5. Thank God. The Rebellion, very much still a hill to climb, as you say, Parker. I mean, that attack from DarkZero gets a little off balance early. Newers loses an isolated 1v1 close with the shotgun, and then really it's just a lack of information on the top floor. They did bring a Deimos for intel, but with him being the opening death, they had no Snake, they had no Dokkaebi, they had no real drone operators to go through and find those players. So it was always going to be a tough sell, clearing that top floor, top side of the map. Can they do it 5 times in a row? That's the question.
For most teams,
Bomb located by
the answer is no. Don't forget that one timely clutch from the Rebellion yesterday propelled them to a 7 consecutive round victory on Fortress. Now, obviously, different teams. Twisted Minds are a formidable foe, but DarkZero are terrific against other North American teams. And, well, how lucky that your matchup in the Grand Finals is against another NA squad. DarkZero have really shown very limited weaknesses on these last 2 maps. They expected to lose Nighthaven Labs. They lost it, all according to plan. Now, the Rebellion, they probably never expected to lose this bank matchup. They thought they would lose Chalet, sure, but now here, they are in trouble. DarkZero made some small mistakes in that previous round, but I don't know, Jesse. I don't know if DarkZero has it in them to fumble round after round after round after round to send us to OT.
It would be uncharacteristic of this DZ squad. No team's been more consistent inside of North America this season, Parker. They've been so good when the moments have been the biggest. Now they'll have to defend up towards the top floor. DarkZero on the attack, trying to make some things happen around top square, around the windows as well. Dealing with the Azami is going to be a bit of a nightmare here. Spoit inside of stock, continue to close these angles, continue to shut down some of these window positions. He's on the opposite side of the top floor right now, so it's not currently going to be a big contest, but DZ start to rotate to his position, and now Spoit's in an early fight.
Spoit using all those Kiva barriers very selfishly over towards the stock trading portion, and he gets a really easy kill on Kino. He'll also get the Selma. This is great play by Spoit. Willie holding down the fort. DarkZero unable to follow up, so that kill will go untraded, and DZ will now have to reposition with just a little over half of the round to go.
Yeah, deciding that Spoit is just too good inside of stock. That's not a fight that they can commit to, so they're going to reposition elsewhere. They've still got good bodies outside the site windows. That's going to be where Newers is currently holding, and NGR brings the defuse kit this way. Those Kiva barriers inside of stock will not save you if these Candelas start making a mess of the bomb site.
And NJR's about to get his masters in messology, Jesse, as out go the smokes. Candelas will follow up as well. The telltale sign. Bolt's looking for an opening, but he gets siege timing. Spoit with a premonition, turning on over. NJR getting defuse kit down, blunted by the Rebellion's momentum. Now it's all left to J90 and Newers. Again, Jack always in these final moments here. Odds are a little bit better than the previous round, but still, you can't favor DarkZero in this position.
50 seconds still on the clock. SR have a lot of time to waste down. J90 and Newers can start to play with their food, but the double up is so good from the Rebellion. Newers in the 1v4. He'll have to double his kill count to win this round.
I feel a timeout coming by this DarkZero team as they will almost certainly lose their second round in a row. There we go, Spoit with the dagger. A big motivator for Shopify Rebellion. The crowd favoring SR starting to get a bit more lively. All comebacks start with 1 round, and they've stitched 2 together. SR still showing signs of life on Bank.
Now we've got momentum in the SR camp. The attack timeout not being called by callout. We're not in dire straits just yet. Gonna let them go through this map or this op ban phase at the very least. You're worried a little bit about just this pressure that is starting to apply to DZ. Of course, this is a team who have, really with this core, never really accomplished the highest of heights. J90 struggled in some of his finals in the past, but that was a long time ago. Here's the tack.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, for the delay, if that's what we want to run, we need to be careful of the Thatcher. It's going, if we run the Echo, they can just Thatcher the Echoes if they actually run it. Guys, the thing I want to say here too is Will did it last round. We need to be making plays.
Yeah. Right. Also bring the knockout too.
You don't have to force it, but if you see the opportunity, don't feel like you need to force it though.
And I know it's hard to like think it at the moment, but we need to be thinking of what we can do that's going to solve some of the issues that we have with these bans and with what they're doing. Okay, guys, make sure we're playing to win. Like, come up.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That is the tack timeout from DarkZero. Just to be clear, SR's was burned early in this match, so call out deciding now is the time to have some words with his team, stem the bleeding before things get too out of hand. When you need a miracle, when you need 5 straight rounds to stay alive in the third map of a BO5, you look to heroes. And there's maybe no player in this lobby who has filled the shoes of a hero more than Spoit. The MVP back during the Berlin Major, the first event of his career, and what a round he has in round number 9 to be able to pull SR back from this moment. Again, shuts down that stock push entirely. Only gets 1 frag from that position, but it forces an entire rotate from the players on DZ, catches another one early in that round, and then the final frag there too. A beautiful shot straight onto Newers and a heavy man advantage. If Spoit starts to show up like we've seen him in the past, like the old days when he was a young rookie on Rogue, this series could get a lot more interesting.
Trade mine on. Great game sense and good mechanical aim on Spoit's side of things. So if he can continue to keep this ball rolling, Rebellion will have sustained chances of tying this up. It is a long road again. You said this, 5 rounds in a row and then you still have overtime. It's daunting.
Yep.
But I mean, you're a major winner. You've seen adversity firsthand. That Rogue phase game was one for the ages. And you enter with no real experience, and you put up that statement game that he did, and of course you've got good leadership backing you up. Anything is possible on this Rebellion team. They just need to show us that they can accomplish it.
Yeah, both Spoit and Canadian had really difficult roads to win their respective majors. 5 maps required in both. Here comes the roam clear, and just beside the hatch, they will manage to fall back towards the site. No early picks going the way of DarkZero. The Shopify Rebellion happy to fall off. They do not want to take gunfights when they're playing a combination with Kaid, with Goyo, with the Chonka, with the Echo. They've got so much for this bomb site. 5v5 is exactly where SR want to be.
Kino just did that clear all by himself on Blitz. Reminds me of another particular matchup we saw in Bank about 7 years ago or so. A flying V, some maybe would say, but Kino able to pull that one off. It scares Ambi out of his position, and I mean, I don't want to deal with a Blitz going head-to-head with me, especially if you don't know what follows. Kino is scary on shields on his own, but if there's a 1-2 punch, the best bet that you can hope for is to trade it off. So smart move by the Rebellion is now that allows DarkZero to settle in here on this main floor, using Thatcher effectively, as Callout had spoken of, to get these claws off of the hatches.
Yeah, it's for the claws, it's for the yokai cams, it's for information on even the bulletproof. Like, there is so much utility being brought by SR, but the frags will still favor the Rebellion. Spoit with the first. Canadian falls.
That's Newers wagging the dog on Canadian. Down goes NJR to Spoit. So, I mean, you talked about the impact that Spoit could have. He's already on the board in this round. They are going to need so much more out of him now. Final minute. Spoit going for the flank above. Does anybody have any idea? Kino getting defused kit down. Spoit will need to hurry. 8 players still alive in the lobby, and suddenly the timing here has been shortened. Spoit might get another. Newers with 1. Spoit takes care of Kino. Rexon on the board now as well. Rexon held off the score sheet for so much. J9O dies. Bolts will need to clutch up. This seems like an impossible task, but he gets 2 of them, maybe. Doing a serious amount of damage. Bolts needs Spoit, but Daddy's home! Oh my God, Spoit keeps SR in this match!
Willie came to play. What a clutch, what a flank, Parker. We said they needed a hero on the side of SR, and they have found it. Spoit with a massive maneuver. He finds a frag over towards main stairs, works his way to the top floor of this map. It's Surf on the flank watch, and he's caught a little bit lacking as he tries to come back up. NJR managed to be the first one to go down, and then we see Spoit go nuclear here on the bottom floor of Bank. He wins the 1v1 clutch, stops Fault from making that 1v3 happen. It could have been a dream crusher if the captain of DarkZero could put it together, but at that moment, Parker, there was nothing stopping Spoit.
No, and I mean, we're starting to see that, right? Spoit firing things up, 14 kills now. You said they needed a hero, and he has emerged from the telephone booth with the S on his chest. The S, of course, standing for Spoit.
Super Spoit.
There you go. Still, the road is long for the Rebellion, and while they definitely have confidence on their side, there's still 2 more rounds to go. If there's anything that can really just exemplify how tough this is for Rebellion, it's this gap between the teams. And DZ have so many threats that at any moment can take over a round. Rebellion cannot just keep relying on Spoit. They need somebody else to join him.
That's exactly right, Parker. Spoit has given a lifeline to the Rebellion, but they cannot rely on him getting 3 or 4 kills every single round to win this map. Now you've got yourself an opportunity. You have to be able to capitalize on it. SR back to the defense, and now it's a tertiary site. Open area can be a tough one for some teams to try to hold down on the defense. Did a great job previously, of course, but this can still be tricky and be early damage, but is safe behind these castles for now.
DarkZero have watched as a team with a pretty horrendous win rate on defense has run up the score on them 3 in a row now from Shopify Rebellion. Poor fans, they're probably starting to believe at this point. Heartbreak can happen at a moment's notice.
Ambi's done great things on this position before. It was 21-1 game on Bank where he went absolutely crazy to keep SR competitive here in the playoffs, to advance them here to the grand finals. They could rely on him once more, but they have everything set up. The Nitro waiting for Kino. Not played yet.
Spoit, a human magnet at that point in time, as 2 separate nades land on him. Canadian down below blows up Kino. The dynamite is good, but Spoit is off the board. That is troubling for the Rebellion. They have struggled for kills beyond Spoit. Now it's the reserve players. Ambi drops Gambling what little is left of his HP. 4 and 10 for Ambi is well below his own standards, and it will not help the Rebellion one bit, as now DarkZero has a numbers advantage.
Canadian was desperate for a refrag, but he just couldn't find J90, so now it's a man lead for DarkZero. This is their best shot that they've had to close out this game on the tertiary site, where SR are going to struggle the most. They've gotten themselves the top floor control. They've gotten themselves a one-man lead, but without their shield, what's the entry point here, Parker? They can work the vert with the Ram. Newers will start on that now, and they can likely pop that hatch inside of stock if they need to as well. But as the time ticks down, a 3v4 clutch from the Rebellion is not impossible. J90 will rotate over towards the server stairs. This signals to me that they will be going for a square finish. It is critical that they watch their flanks when they go for this.
Ooh, and J90 now searching for Canadian down in the escape tunnel. He's managed to get his way out, but Canadian is trapped at the top of blue stairs. J90 will see it. Canadian turns! Turns out you can't teach a dog new tricks. That could have blown the round up, but J90 is stunned by that one. He got a little cocky.
And now Canadian's in the perfect position. They can't execute from square. This is a disaster.
And they're gonna hunt for Canadian. As he still holds this position, they wander in. DarkZero had so much going for them. Down goes Surf, down goes Rexon. Canadian will now need to be the savior. Can NJR pull off the plant? Yes, with 1 second left. And Newers out-aims Canadian. Heartbreak for the Rebellion. DZ takes SR's map. They go to their home turf. 1 map away from the championship.
Super, not the result you wanted on this map. You now go down series point against. What's the message for the guys going into this next map?
We just need to continue to play to win. I don't think there's a message. You're not going to give up. Going to keep fighting.
Anything in specific you need to focus on going against this DZ squad?
Well, Call Out standing right next to me, so it wouldn't be smart to say, would it?
No, it would not. Thank you, Super. Call Out. Normally we see you standing behind there, focused, very stern, not a lot of smiling. I saw you crack a smile on that last map. What's making you smile right now?
That basement round, we just used like a very great usage of like the prep we had. We were talking about using the Thatcher for their clash and just running down on them, and the guys executed, and I got fired up. I don't know. It's the best thing I can say.
Incredible. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Super not giving much away there, as you might expect, but you could argue they gave the map away there. There was times where it looked like they might start to fight back. DZ just too good.
They have been too good, and I mean, love the humility from Call Out. I mean, great way to put it. You get fired up when you see the team executing on all cylinders, and I think that's what we saw throughout the whole map. I mean, it's really been a DZ train. Their coordination so far has been amazing in the way that they go for the executes. It's just one of those things that when everything's working and you have an amazing player to be able to stack on top of it, like J9O, I mean, you see what the outcome is. There essentially just no way that J9O is not able to shut down SR. They're consistently getting kills. I mean, I think this round in particular was a good J9O round, but a team-oriented round towards the end. They get their picks, 3v3. They push. Watch everybody from DarkZero in unison from every different lane. You can see them, Newers on one side, UCNGR on the other side, them pushing all together to be able to execute. That's just showing the difference on how coordinated DZ are compared to what SR is showing.
It's very different, and for DZ, especially going into this matchup again, where I talk about that domestic matchup back and forth, they were always so responsive on that defensive half, where you would think SR, they had it all set in stone. We heard even SR in some of those timeouts, what they wanted to do, how they were going to counterplay, but they just absolutely not could get over that hurdle. DZ constantly always meeting them at the front door and then forcing SR's hand every single time throughout that defensive half.
Lax, when it comes to professional Siege, especially a grand final, the devil's in the detail. What was one of the key points from this map?
I mean, it's no brainer. The blacklight detail certainly has to fall on Kino. Once again, playing that smoke shotgun inside of blue. I mean, he really forced SR's hand here, not only stalling out time once again, but he's playing for his life here. He's not going to leave this spot. He has to be a thorn in the Rebellion side. Not only does he get 2 picks, he forces SR to rotate, to leave blue. And then because of that, they have to panic. They have to go for this execute. And because of it, Kino gets the down. They go for the revive. That then allows Jack to swing out into garage, get the 2-piece, clean up shop, and it's why we have to highlight Kino and give him the blacklight detail.
I mean, we talk about Kino in those death spots. He's so consistent. He's so good. He understands how to use his utility. Best shotgun player in the game by far. The Kino shotgun never misses. But the fact that he's also prioritizing stalling time as opposed to just getting kills and using it for the team at the end of the day, that's something that Call Out has been able to instill into Kino, into the team, that you're playing for each other.
It's never nice to have your back against the wall in a grand final situation. Of course, DZ, one map away from as an org winning their first major piece of silverware in Siege since 2022. On the flip side, you got Shopify Rebellion potentially about to have their hearts broken on home soil. Lax, what are they going to be talking about right now?
I mean, you gotta reset. That's the beauty of this, is you can just wipe it away. You know where things went wrong, and thankfully they did start to bounce back. I mean, we did see that huge round 10 from Spoit, being able to bring that round back. Inevitably, had they lost that, this wouldn't be the series that almost went the distance here to bring it to an overtime. But fact of the matter is, I mean, everyone has to be on the same page again. They have to find that same sort of synergy that we saw in their Twisted Minds game, that we saw in that even got them here, to say the least. So everything has to start coming together.
I mean, with going to Cafe, DZ are currently 3-0 record on it, SR 5-2. It's a very even match. I think the edge when it comes to DZ, though, is the utility, the way that they're using these unique operators to get that first pick. If you're SR, you need to be able to run more traps, find a way to alleviate that, be able to deal with the glass, be able to deal with the Ying, the Blitz.
They have to write the narrative.
Exactly. I think that's the best way to look at it.
You talked about Spoit, some killer performances towards the back end of the map there in particular. It's been a long time since he's been in a situation like this. You're looking all the way back to the Berlin Major. He's not going to let this opportunity go, Fox, without kicking and screaming.
Yeah, not at all. We were talking about Ambi all weekend, and when push comes to shove, we haven't seen him too much. Spoyd has shown up. He really did his absolute best on Bank to be able to keep his team alive. And if we can keep seeing that, I mean, when you get a player fired up, we always talk about it. The best way to get momentum back, if you have a player that's getting clip after clip, big rounds, that's a surefire way to get that momentum back into your spirits.
Absolutely.
Troy the boy, Canadian. Some highs and lows for sure in map 3 there. He needs to come out and he needs to lead this team.
Listen, it's not just on Troy, it's on the entire team. It wasn't just on one single individual on this SR roster that got them to this grand final. It was every single one of these players coming in with their ideas, coming in with their plays, coming in with their moments, their clutches, whatever it might be. That's where they were finding the rhythm. That's where they were finding the synchronization. That's where they were looking like a brand new roster than what we saw back during kickoff. They have to be able to find that and make it work and gel quickly.
I mean, SR was still doing an amazing job at getting the opening kills. When you look at the statistics after watching the match, a lot of it for DarkZero really was those late round scenarios, being able to understand how the execute's going to come through, and they had the utility for it. That was the biggest downfall. SR didn't have a response for those cheese operators. A lot of their problem solving was maybe get a flank from Spoyd, maybe get a 2-on-1 push. It wasn't really utility based, and that's where I believe DZ got the edge on them.
Rebellion, Cafe, how are you feeling about it?
I'm not feeling too great. However, like I did say, they did start to fight back towards the end of that bank. I need to see something right out the gate, or I can see DZ steamrolling it.
We need a big play. It's one of those maps that's going to hinder Ambi's ability to get active on the entry because information's there, but Cafe's such a small map. It's very difficult to find openings, find a way to catch DZ off guard. It's really going to come down to an adaptation game, the utility. I'd be surprised if we don't see some shields just to be able to get the foot in the door from SR to be able to progress through the rounds.
I'll tell you what, you mentioned Ambi there. One person in particular is hoping for a big Ambi performance in this next map is his mum, and Jonah's standing by with her right now.
Yeah, guys, thank you. I'm here with Ambi's mom in the crowd. I can't imagine what this must be like for you, watching your son up there playing. What is that feeling like, watching him up there, and as he's been, for the most part, conquering everybody so far this week?
It's amazing. I know Noor's mom and grandma are here as well. My mom is here as well. The crowd behind us is amazing. SR just needs to lock in and let's go.
Is there anything you wish you could tell him right now, going into this map with their backs against the wall?
That they're the rebellion and they got this.
Incredible. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
I think that's the point, isn't it? You've just got to remember who you are and what brought you to the grand final and not forget all of the phenomenal performances you're putting up to this point, and of course on map 1 too. This is an opportunity to get back to winning ways, and it's like you said, Lax, they have to reset, folks, right?
They sure do. I mean, we talked about it. It's the mentality. It's the momentum. At this point, we already knew these two maps were going to go in DZ's favor. Both of these teams understand it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to Cafe. You have to be able to focus on exactly what's going wrong. I'm sure, I mean, Super didn't say it in the interview, but they know exactly what the issue is. They know how to fix it. If they can just get that confidence back, we already got Spoyd shooting. At the end of the day, if the rest of the team shows up, it's anybody's ball game.
I think we do have to put a little more pressure on Ambi because he really has been a walking highlight reel, and since coming into this match, we haven't seen that same sort of play from him. So I really, really want to emphasize a big performance coming out of Ambi will pay dividends for this team to be able to find something.
I've got to do a quick check with the crowd here. This might be the last time. Who's taking this map? Is it going to be DarkZero? Or will it be Shopify Rebellion? This could be it. Let's find out once again with our wonderful casters in Tero and Jesse.
Thank you so very much. It's been a long road here for a lot of teams, and this might be the finale. Will we be treated to a fifth map, or Jesse, do you feel Cafe is the end of the road?
Cafe is going to be a real big obstacle, if nothing else, for the Rebellion, Parker. This is a map that DZ have been undefeated on throughout the season so far. Foxay mentioned it on the desk. 3-0 over the last couple of months. They beat Space Station back during the NAL kickoff. They beat Los here in Salt Lake City. And maybe more important than anything, they beat the Rebellion back during the lower bracket finals of the NAL kickoff. These teams have a history on Cafe, and that history says it will go DZ.
Yeah, I mean, for the SR fans, your best shot was likely that bank map, but it has been really tough for the fraggers on Shopify Rebellion. I mean, outside of Spoit, there really hasn't been a lot of life on this team for the last 2 maps. You said you needed a hero. Spoit, put on that cape. Who does it here on Cafe for SR?
I mean, you look to a guy like Ambi, I think we had a great interview with his mom in the crowd, and she said it, right? Remember who you are. Remember that you're the Rebellion. This team have beaten so many incredible opponents just to get here to the grand finals. They battled their way through the lower bracket in NAL kickoff. They battled their way through phase 1 against so many of these international teams. They made it through Swiss, they made it through G2, they made it through Twisted Minds, and now here against DarkZero, they have to remember what they're made of. It can't be a one-hero performance. They tried that on Bank, and it wasn't good enough. More than one person has to step up and be the hero for the Rebellion. It has to be a team effort.
And I mean those 2 players whose names are on the tip of our tongue for the entirety of that very first map, the only map that up to this point the Rebellion have succeeded on, were Ambi and Rexon. Rexon has only had 6 kills in the 2 maps that followed. That is far below what we expect of him. For Ambi, that number is 8. 8 kills through the next 2 maps. Again, way below. We're used to seeing Ambi drop more than 8 kills a map, Jesse. So things are not going very well here on the fragging side of the Rebellion, which again, we thought might be an issue for DarkZero, but frankly, has not really materialized. J90 and co have dominated the Rebellion in terms of kills. If they keep that up, this is their map. We could be done this major championship in no time at all.
4 years ago in Berlin, Spoit faced a very similar situation where he was down 2-1 in a best of 5. That was versus FaZe Clan, and I don't need to remind you how that one went. Rogue were able to win map 4, they won map 5, maximum overtime, 8-7 on the final map. It took everything that they had to be able to win that major oh so many years ago, and they'll have to battle back once more to do it here. First fight on the white stairs, it's gonna be favoring Fultz.
And Ambi of all people gets taken down. I didn't hear a single phone call ring out. That is devastating for the Rebellion to lose that early on. Fultz sustaining a little bit of damage. I'm not exactly sure from where.
Activating glance.
But will still survive for the time being as now Kino goes for the rotate. There's Spoit on the board, down goes Newers. It's a good spot for Spoit to be in, and immediately follows up with his second EE1D. Still 1 remains in pocket as we hit the halfway point here of round number 1.
J90 still top floor. He doesn't have a good way back, but he fights his way out of it. Finds Canadian with a beautiful shot and another why not. Spoit will hit the deck, and now these numbers continue to get worse for SR.
And Jack gets another! My goodness! NJR and J90 have been dynamite together. You have said that on almost every single map so far, and on Cafe, we've got another good duo moment from them.
Yeah.
As DZ blanks Rebellion on that one and takes the first round.
I mean, we watched Bank together, Parker. That was the battle between J90 and Spoit. Each of them having hero rounds to bring that map as close as it was, but in the end, it was J90 that was the better of the 2. Spoit not consistent enough, and it's not a coincidence that this frag right here onto Spoit, after he downs Canadian, it's the real difference maker in this round. He gets a final frag just on the escape down the hatch. J90 has been lights out this event. He has been absolutely crushing it, especially in these grand finals. He's playing the best siege of his career. Rebellion need an answer. They have to find a way to shut down J90.
I mean, he's screaming towards an MVP performance in this series.
Yep.
I don't know if it'll be enough to give him MVP of the entire tournament, but I mean, I'm not making that call, so I mean, I don't care. It's not up to me. But J90 also comes from just a lovely family. Had some time to talk to them in Boston. They are wonderful people. They seemingly have raised a great son, and frankly, they've raised a hell of a competitor at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, he was part of that Astralis roster that lost in Charlotte a few years ago when Canadian and NJR became major champions. Finally back in a final, his first one since that major. He's been waiting a long time for this moment. He is not letting the moment slip away. 3-0 start on Cafe. They will go to the other mid-floor. Bomb site is reading as our second one on deck.
Try not to read too much of these individual performances again, because anybody can step up at a moment's notice. You don't make it to the grand finals without somebody pulling off a hero play. Kino dives off the top rope. Down goes Surf. He's worried about somebody upstairs. There's no way he's going to contest this again, right? I mean, he's got his angle held by Spoit, shotgun out, jostling around. How does he manage to get away? Ambi finally brings him down, but that one looked like they might allow him to slip through their fingers.
Yeah, must get kill coming through from Ambi. Important that he's able to shut that one down. If Kino gets another or even gets away there, that is a huge blunder, but the Rebellion don't falter. Still lots of players here on the top floor. Ambi gonna enter in through the bottom, actually. He's gonna work his way up these red stairs. There's a couple of players nearby. He's gotta be worried about faults. He's on the other side of a soft wall. They don't necessarily know he's here, but one logic bomb could change all of that. Here it comes.
Very well timed. Ambi was not able to do anything with it back in that very first round. Spoit will now take down Newers as SR march over towards the adjoining part of this map, looking to get to the bomb site. It's not over in mining, though. So while they might have that pivotal control, they still need to translate that to dining room and reading. And with just a little bit over a minute to go, they've got a numbers advantage. They're in all right shape.
And they still don't know where Faults is, though, Parker. That's my big concern. Despite the logic bomb being played right on the other side of that wall, Faults' position has not been droned out. They do not know he's here. They might suspect it, but based on how they're playing, I don't think they have any clue of the captain's position.
There's still one logic bomb, though, so they might be able to get his whereabouts pinned down as he sits next to a soft wall. There's a DMR on the other side of that, too. You know how much damage that DMR can do. Ambi outdueled by J90. That will throw a spanner in the works for this Rebellion execute, and there's Fultz compelled to action. Down goes Canadian, sidearm out, and he finds another from the same spot. Spoit, the intended target. Fultz, no expression on his face. Ice in the veins as DZ start off 2-0.
Alec Faults, that's exactly what was required of him in that position, Parker. The patience was sitting just under that hatch, was sitting inside a pillar for almost 2 full minutes. Never was it droned out, never was it found by the logic bomb, and when that moment is required of him, he finds the frags. Starts off with an aggressive move from Kino. This goes 1 for 1, but right off the rip, you lose that Grim. It kind of disrupts this push for what SR wanted to go for. I liked their recovery. It's a great shot from Spoit inside mining. J90, of course he's good for 1, but Faults, the real MVP. The fact that he finds not 1, not 2, but 3 frags from this position inside a pillar is absolutely disgusting. 2-0 now for DZ.
Small changes to operators have such a profound impact on these games, Jesse, and a big one was the move to take your gun and maybe stick it a little bit farther away from your face, right? Because the CZ75, that thing used to be touching your nose. It was impossible to aim with it. One of the changes to these sidearms allows more flexibility on operators like Thorn, who received a host of other buffs. You can run the M870 now, play close quarters, as we saw a couple players do on Bank, because that CZ75 is now a viable option as a secondary. And of course, Fultz with the Uzi and the sidearm put in so much work. Fultz was sensational on Chalet, en route to a dominating 7-2. If he has that kind of game here on Cafe, oh boy, SR, you might be counting these rounds real quick.
Perfect rotation on the line for DarkZero. It was denied to them back on Bank. SR were able to stop the bleeding momentarily on their early attacks. It's been a consistent trend this map where SR have chosen to start the attack, DZ have chosen to start the defense, so we've gotten a lot of the same side starts. The Nitro from Newers will miss and give his position away, but this is a full anchor down on the kitchen site, Parker. This is going to be a slow round coming through. SR don't seemingly have a lot of pressure top floor, though, so despite all of this space being relatively free, they might just be trying to force this in through Baker.
Kino was hoping that mute jammer would keep him safe for a little bit of time. Oh my goodness! Fultz blows them up, and with it, maybe the round. Spoit and Canadian taken down by one well-timed Nitro cell, and DZ have a huge leg up now here in round 3.
Now what do? Shopify Rebellion down by 2. It's a huge Nitro to come out. DarkZero, they just have to bide their time, but Ambi has something to say about it. Finds the head of Fault over towards Restaurant. We're back within 1.
They have killed the raid boss.
There's another one, though, Parker. He's lurking inside a VIP. J90 yet to die in this match.
Might have an idea of his position. Takes some damage from the barbed wire. There's Newers. He was distracted, looking over in Surf's position. They just wander right into the trap. DarkZero playing with their food at this point in time. Rexon now in a 1v4. I think we know where he's going. This will be a timeout. So Rexon will go upstairs, sit and wait. DarkZero will win the round, and there is still a minute to go. Rebellion not keen to burn their only timeout. They will talk through this issue. I don't even know what you discuss at this point in time. What has Super not said? On Chalet, on Bank, now on Cafe. What more can he say to this team?
Well, he's not saying anything now as we go into the cam. I'm glad we've highlighted Canadian. He's dead right now, but his lips are flapping. This is the captain's role. This is where you need your leaders to step up. They were able to do it on Bank. Maybe not to the fullest extent that they needed, but they did start mounting that comeback when all hope looked lost. We are not at that point yet. It's 2-0, it's about to be 3-0 on Cafe. It is not a game over situation, but with how good DZ have been playing, with Faults racking kill after kill, finding unique and creative ways to get those kills, with Jane I know still having a flawless game so far, and with everyone on DZ working together, you have to be perfect to break this DZ squad, and that's what SR have to try to figure out now.
Next step are the operator bans, and I mean, you can tell from the emotions on your screen, it is night and day for these teams. Lots of smiles, tons of relief from the DarkZero bench. Over for Shopify Rebellion, lots of long faces, lots of blank stares, and frankly, for good reason. It has been a slog here for SR over the last two maps. The hope was that after you got demolished over on Chalet, that you'd be able to fix it. Maybe the timeout here will do it.
I want us to be clearing every round. Avoid the lurk, like we can play Snowside, but they're literally camping it and they're farming us on that. And we're trying to force them and we're getting punished solo for that, okay? Guys, play into our game, fucking clear these guys every round, okay? For C1, they're only running a Rooney. We can clear that guy if we want to. We have the option to clear that.
The C1 fast that can work too.
Yeah, we can clear. Listen to me. We need to make sure we're checking for thorn traps, like repelling in heaven if we want to. We don't even have to do that. We can just go for that kill. But guys, stop forcing shit solo. Let's just clear and play together, all right? These last 3 rounds here, every fucking round, everything you got. Make plays to win the fucking game, guys. Come on.
We have the BB, we have the Glaz. I think all that really nade spam, bro. Like Hunger, who the fuck used to do to us? We just nade spam the corners. Like,
that is the most firm I have heard from a super attack timeout in a very long time. Some frustration starting to build on the side of the Rebellion, but the message is clear. They have to be playing together. They have to be clearing these angles. They can't keep trying to force individual plays because DarkZero, they're winning those over and over again. Shopify Rebellion have now used their final lifeline on Cafe. They will have to wait for Call Out to call his if they talk to Super again. They've got a timeout, of course, after round 6 as well, but Shopify Rebellion, that might be too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, you've got yourself in quite a hole. We like the turnaround that we started to see on Bank, but it was too little too late. Now it's DZ running up the score on you here, and I mean, what more is there to say? After DarkZero handled FaZe Clan yesterday, they immediately vaulted to the top of a lot of people's predictions to be the favored team. Granted, you only had 2 options, but if you take down the world champions, you've been the Kingslayers. For good reason, they think you're going to succeed, and DarkZero are showing everybody why they sought out this new roster, and the depth that this team has is just, it's suffocating.
DZ have had a rough couple of years. The fans in the audience will know it better than anyone. They have been struggling over the last 2 years, but this rebuild looks so good for DarkZero. They have dominated this tournament so far. Now after the TAC timeout, they can really put their foot down, stop any momentum being built by SR. This is a critical round. If DZ can win this one, if they can win Mining and Dining for a second time, close the door on SR, stop their hopes from coming alive here in this first half of Cafe. Parker, I think that might be good enough for a trophy.
Completely agreed with you. So, what happens in the next 2 minutes here? Rebellion averaging less than 2 kills a round, and it's not going to be a good start, Jesse. Kino destroys Rexon on Repel. Spoit has also been felled. There goes Surf. DarkZero has snapped their fingers, and holy shit, the round is over.
It's a disaster. Top to bottom, it's a disaster. DarkZero dominant from top to bottom. 4-0 now in the most confident, inspiring round we have seen all day long. Shopify Rebellion looks stunned.
Jesse, I look stunned.
We all look stunned.
We all look stunned.
DZ looked stunned after that round win. I mean, you saw it on their own faces. They couldn't believe what they just pulled off, but every single player is finding their opportunity to shine. It's a nitro from Kino. It's stopping the aggressive moves to that top floor. There's no trade game potential from SR because it's one by one. Players trying to funnel in and fight these long angles, and DZ are happy to hold them. They're happy to shut these players down. They're hitting insane shots round after round after round, and the Rebellion don't have an answer.
The most amazing thing about the last 4 rounds, it's been both Kino and Fultz striking first. Those are not the guys that usually lead off your picks. And yet they've been doing that. They've left NJR and Newers in reserves. NJR is 1 kill and 1 death. He is having the easiest map of his life. NJR's sitting there, reading the news, smoking a cigar. You guys got this, don't worry. J90 yet to die. How often are we gonna bang this drum? DarkZero are looking indomitable.
NJR entered this series as the top frag player for DZ, entered with 113 kills. Only he and Newers had broken triple digits before this series, but DarkZero, one of the most ridiculously deep teams in the world. An answer will finally be found. Fault 7-2 now after his early death in this round, but they need more than that.
It's a hell of an angle from Ambi to get the kill over towards Fireplace. Ambi reunited with an R4C. Dare I say it, the stereotypical fragging gun.
Yeah.
Canadian now reunited with the shield. As he will march his way over towards Piano. Jack having to survey all of the windows. J90 sees Canadian, the call will be made. Down below, Kino hoping to buy as much time as possible. Canadian in the bathroom already, and there goes the shield break. J90 struggling, Sploit goes down to the hands of Newers, and now Canadian will try again. J90 worried about the skylight, Rexon falls. Canadian having to unsheath his shield. His hands full right now. J90 baited into the waiting arms of Surf. We've got ourselves a fight on this top floor. Surf will find another on the Kino. DarkZero reduced to 2. They have been in the driver's seat so far on this map, and they are still in a position where they can win, but they have to deal with the shield of Canadian. On half HP as he's chased off by NJR. This duel still over on White Stairs. Here comes Surf for the assist.
He's a bit solo for a long time. Finally, Surf comes to help out his captain through the feet. Canadian gets down to just 1 HP on a sliver of health. Surf has to hit this shot, and he will do so.
Very good trust. And now it's Newers in a 1v3. Newers has clutched before, and with that DMR, he can do some major damage. He finds the head of Surf. The F2 is a great gun. He needs to be very careful about lining himself up in this position. Canadian now squaring away. There's Ambi for insurance. Shopify Rebellion showing signs of life.
It's a light in the darkness, isn't it? And it comes on Canadian on Monty. I'm shocked I'm saying this, but through 4 maps, that is only the 2nd time Canadian has picked Monty in this best of 5 series, and it's not like we've been seeing it banned every single map. Round 1 of map 2 was the only other time that we saw Troy stick the mountain, stick the shield. He's played a little bit of blitz, but otherwise it's not been a very shield-focused strategy from SR. They played a lot of attacking rounds, starting on attack so often in this best of 5, but ultimately, when they finally need him, they rely on the shield, they start setting up these picks. Surf, the best round of the tournament he's had so far, the best round of these finals, if nothing else. They need a little bit more of that.
Remember who you are. Remember the team that you are. It has not been an easy road to the finals for the Rebellion. All of their victories hard-earned. Their defeats often heartbreaking.
10 seconds to go.
But they are the 2nd best team at worst at this event.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Reloading.
Nobody enters the grand finals wanting to say, yeah, well, we were 2nd best. Everybody is fighting for that trophy on the stage. Some of these players looking for the first taste of a major victory. For others, they're looking to repeat success they found some long ago, some very recent if you're Kino. Final round of the first half. 30 seconds in, DarkZero with a lead that could yet become insurmountable if they take this fateful 6th round.
Newers playing passive so far in the wedding window. Forces Surf back just a bit. Wasted one of those nades, but the window remains relatively shut. They've got a couple angles, but that's okay. Last time we went to this bomb site, SR went for a very direct take. They were just kind of trying to flood in through restaurant, flood in through bakery. They didn't take top floor control. They've brought Ambi on the sledge this time, so you might think, okay, they are going to go for top down, but that's not where their current position suggests. It's probably going to be Ambi alone late in this round, trying to take control of mining, take control of train. And if Newer's existing up here, that could be a huge problem, but he army crawls his way away and stays alive. Okay.
A Nitro Cell and a Brava drone's not a trade I would make, Jesse, but of course I'm not playing in the grand final, so what do I know?
Gets them both.
More damage was done to Newers now as he scampered off of his position. Uh-oh, Kino's attention elsewhere. Good read by Ambi from above. Kino has to pick his opportunity. There goes Ambi to a Nitro Cell from Newers. They're trying to hunt down Kino. Surf still from that position above. Shopify Rebellion having a much better 6th round, but they've just lost their numbers advantage. Foltz coming in for the assist. Down goes Rexon. Canadian trapped in the corner. Uh-oh. Surf is the last man standing. DarkZero wanting to finish this one off. As Surf takes down Newers and will now have to head back towards the main bakery door with 3 players of DarkZero still very much alive.
Surf's been one of the most clutch players for the Rebellion ever since he joined this roster, Parker. He's got full 60 seconds to work with. They're all in his line of sight. But he can't even find one frag. It's going to be 3 players still up, and it's going to be 5-1 in our first half.
Do the Solus first, Pulse second more we do this. Biggest thing right here, fellas, they're gonna start, like, last time we played season on Cafe, we're in like the exact same position. This was like, what, over 2 stages ago? We went up like 6-0, 5-1, they just started playing like absolute buffoons. So like be aware that, especially when we're going towards the window side on these bases, just lean into like full anti-cheese a little bit early, take this first round pretty slow here to kind of feel out what they're actually doing. And then the biggest thing, fellas, like Junior was saying, just fundamentally sound. That's all we gotta do. Just stay fundamentally sound, we don't have to do anything crazy, nothing special, simple and fundamental, and that is it. And just be aware of the fucking buffoonery.
Yeah.
I'm literally bagging.
It's gonna be like probably like the fast layers too. If it's not the hard nose aggression, it's gonna be fast layers into like bunkers.
Yeah, and if it is, then we're already in a good position because we banned the pulse, so it's gonna be a lot easier to actually see off that. Just be aware that the only thing that I could see them trying to like snag us with is like that fucking Valkyrie shit. Maybe some echo work, like with flanks and like C4 as well and such. If that is the case, just start bringing out the IQ again. Quite frankly, we don't even need to force that in the beginning, but just be aware of it.
Yeah.
Heard all the prep
plan
is still
on that,
like
so he's going to do it at the same time. When they did that, Newers walked down Brown. Ram was just playing the mining vert. Fultz just dropped the bomb with the sense. He can also go white and try to sense that off and like run across. And if they do that, the glass might go elsewhere if they have it. Second time, they did the exact same thing, except Kino went Monty, and he just pushed Whitehall with the Monty, okay? So big thing here is both times for that, when they cleared, they did try to push that Whitehall to distract the VIP player. We need to make sure that in the pass against us for that bake, remember they've obviously ran Nomad, so if there's Nomads, make sure that we're in a position where we can actually help to get them off, and if not, that we have a plan for what we want to do with the Clash, whether it's walking up the staircase or pressuring, like holding white, because they might try to push white. Clash can distract that, right? Yeah. For mining, NJ's going to go Snow. He's going to run Striker. He's going to have nades and flashes. Newers goes Deimos Heaven as well, so this would be a quick play. They can do it with Fultz dropping Heaven off of a Ram. Kino dropping Heaven off of Skylight off the Ram. J9 will just be sitting Christmas.
It takes a village to be the best in the world, and that's exactly what DarkZero have had throughout this weekend in Salt Lake City. It was NJR whose MVP-worthy performance got them to this point with one of the best KDs ever put up in a major. It was Kino playing ridiculous rounds on smoke, locking down the defense, playing tight corners with the shotgun that got them a lead here in the series. It was J9O who put up a monster kill total on Bank to put them up now 2-1 up against SR. It was the captain, Fultz on this map, who made so many little moves, whether it was Nitro cells, whether it was wrap positions, and that final round, Parker, for me, it was Newers. The Nitro to start things off, the one pick that they most needed onto that vert player. Another frag deep into that round as well. Some critical moments coming out from every single person on DZ, and now they sit just 2 rounds away from their ultimate goal and repeating what this org did in Charlotte, North Carolina.
An incredible run from both of these teams. Shopify Rebellion have really ran the gauntlet. If this is close to the end, my friend, I think SR can hopefully in the wake of this event, be happy with their performance.
Yeah,
it was phase one that they managed to claw their way through. They've played far and away the most Siege here, which does overexpose their map pool a little bit.
For sure.
But I don't think there's anybody who will say this isn't an earned position. It's feeling like DZ's got everybody's number here in Salt Lake.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, after Munich, people were calling for heads to roll on the side of SR. They went to Paris not making a single roster move. And again, disappointing result for this team, but they still believed in themselves. They still kept this 5-man core alive, and it got them to this point. It brought them to be one of the 2 best teams in the entire world here in Salt Lake City. But it's gonna need to be just a little bit more if they want to upset DarkZero. Down by 4, down by 1 in the series. So much still to pull back. If anyone can do it. Canadian and Spoit? Maybe.
Activating drone.
Bad day for Rexon has continued to go bad here. They managed to catch that Yokai drone. The Canadian popped through the hatch, but there's still information as to how many people are up there. Very beneficial for this DZ team as they now will presumably have the easier side. That's something we haven't talked about an awful lot here. DarkZero can easily ride this one out if the numbers are any indication. Rexon and Kino will get traded back and forth. Rexon still without a kill. Foltz burning alive with what I imagine is his own. He drops Canadian on the board this round. Down goes Spoit. Canadian still surviving in this position. Now it's Surf, a nice flick on NJR through that hatch. Rebellion with a numbers advantage, and Surf has to go to Old Chat to let him know how he feels. Halfway point of the round, and Rebellion are in pretty good shape. Ambi will run into J9O. How does he get that kill? How does he get that one too? The gap closes. It's just as daunting as it was on Bank. The comeback almost real on the previous map. Will they be able to pull it off this time? Rebellion are really hoping that that round kickstarts some offense.
Well, they start to get aggressive in that round, Parker. They start to get a little scrappy. Never afraid of DZ early on those entries. That's what you want from a team that's down now 5-1, turned 5-2. Here in the grand finals of a major, they make some really aggro moves. They never sit still. Despite some good early pressure from guys like J9O, it's really these window positions that are punishing them. When the players are inside the building, it is some nasty shots from the Rebellion that are giving them the edge. Surf was required to hit some great shots back on the attack when he was pushing with Canadian on the Monty. Ambi really required to hit some crazy flicks on that round, and he does so for the Rebellion. 5-2. Still alive here in this series. Plenty of games still potentially to be played.
Bomb located by attackers.
Jesse, you say it yourself, there's always 2 halves to a game of Siege. Rebellion will get to defend Cafe. It is a tricky map for them. DZ are quite dominant on both sides of this map, so again, for DZ fans, if you are a little worried about giving a small opportunity for the Rebellion, rest on the results that your team has amassed on this map, because if you do rest on that, there is a more than greater likelihood that they will be able to win at minimum 2 rounds, and really that's all they need to do.
Yeah.
If a 4-2 half is what SR accomplishes, they lose the championship. You need to do exactly what DarkZero did to you, a 5-1 half. There is very little room for error.
Good information still starts early. SR, they know that that last round, it went pretty fast. They got scrappy in the early game, but they don't have to play like that every round. DarkZero looking for a bit of a reset. Multiple times throughout this series, they have gotten off to an early lead, and then SR have threatened a comeback, but never have they really been able to pull it off. The threat comes once again now as they win their first round on the defense. Mining and dining is their second choice for a bomb site. DarkZero bringing a lot of good tools to shut this down. They got J9O for the vert play once they take top control. They've got Newers trying to force these players out of these power positions. And it'll work. DarkZero, they force SR back. They started to give up some of these positions on the top floor. Really just Spoit and Rexon that remain.
Ambi and Surf linking up in that position as Ambi was shuffled away from his spot on White Stairs. Now Rexon will take up position nearby on the top floor. Sitting on a mute jammer should any drones come his way. No real intel for DarkZero. Down goes Rexon though. Newers takes care of him quite easily. Surf is still in this spot and the bees will go. He dances around the nitro cell. DZ will find another as Ambi goes for a desperate run out. And suddenly DarkZero finds themselves with a 2-man lead.
Newers has been great so far. It's a Claymore kill for the second, now in a 3v5. DarkZero will need to be able to close in on these last couple players. Foyt was the hero on Bank that completed the comeback, that got them halfway there. On the window, playing close, surrounded on all sides, pressured from many angles.
And I mean, this is really do or die. It's all up to Canadian now. What did I say? Very little room for error. The captain will need to lead by example. Less than 50 damage has been done to DarkZero. Oh my days. Canadian knowing what awaits him inside the site as DarkZero looks to sink their teeth into him. He's got so many angles to cover. A hopeless endeavor as DarkZero moves to championship point.
In Montreal in the very first year, we got the first ever All-American final, and it was Canadian who came out on top, playing with Continuum to win the very first hammer in CG Sports history. A few years later in Charlotte, we got another All-North American final, and once again, it was Canadian on top that led DarkZero to a championship, winning the first ever major for North America. But now in Salt Lake City, Parker, that goal is so far away. They must be perfect through 4 straight defending on Cathay. Then they've got to win overtime. Then they've got to win map 5. The objective list is so long for Canadian, but he's done it before. 6-2 now to DZ. This team looks unbeatable at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real weaknesses here. Again, history is repeating itself for a 3rd time. DarkZero is holding down this rebellion, picking them apart round by round, player by player. DZ is not letting off the gas at all. They have this rebellion team on the ropes, and they are hoping to deliver the knockout blow here on Cathay. If not this round, maybe the next. But there are 4 opportunities for DZ to cement themselves and win yet another trophy in America.
1 round at a time, that's got to be the motto for both these teams. Sometimes the pressure is greatest when you're in the lead in a 6-2 advantage. It doesn't get easier. Here comes the utility from DarkZero. This is once more going to be a bit of a 2-sided attack. They've got players up above with J9O on the ram, but they've also got horizontal pressure. They almost faked like they were going horizontal, but now the top-down clear will begin. This is likely going to be a long round, Parker.
I imagine it'll be a slow one. DarkZero doesn't need to rush it unless they see an opportunity. And if that opening does present itself, DZ is a team that so far has been very good at calling on the fly. They are obviously well-rehearsed and well-practiced. They have a great mind backing them up and a world champion leading them in Fultz, who is quite literally leading by example. Top frag on the team, you'd never believe it. And boy, oh boy, what a renaissance it's been for him and so many players here on DarkZero.
Yeah, it feels like everybody's been given a new life here on this DZ team. Since the start of the season, they cemented themselves as the best team in North America. They'll have another opportunity to prove it today. They've been showing that so far. 90 seconds deep, we're halfway through the round and everyone remains. This is expected. When SR are playing a full anchor setup down on side the kitchen, you don't expect early frags to come through. Ambi is likely going to be the first point of contact. As this hatch opens, he has to be sharp, but he's let 2 players drop.
And now it's J9O under fire inside a freezer. Kino getting defused, get down. There's a flash, a reaction. Nobody from Rebellion are shutting this down. Suddenly, we've gone into a 45-second showdown. Fultz on the board first, traded out. There's Newers as well. DZ with the upper hand, looking to lift this trophy. Down goes Canadian. They've got Ambi isolated. Darkness has long been their ally, but in Salt Lake City, DZ have found the lights. Once again on American soil, DarkZero will be major champions.
No doubt about it, the most dominant team inside of North America and inside the globe. DarkZero, from the very start of kickoff, dominated through the group stage, stumbled a little bit at small moments throughout the playoffs, but they always bounced back. They were always able to pull things together. It's been a long time coming for guys like J9O, who lost in those finals back in Charlotte. For others like Kino, as you said, Parker, it's only been 6 months, but it doesn't change how good this must feel.
And the player I'm looking at is NJR. He had the taste of glory with this DZ team. He was in the wilderness so long, but he's made his way out. Shopify Rebellion gave them a pretty decent run for their money, but we were hoping for maybe a bit more. It really just does speak to the dominance of this DZ team. They were well prepared, they were well studied, and they were able to make those changes on the fly to knock out their rivals and secure their second trophy. This org has been in siege since the very moment they founded, and we are ever grateful for it. And once again, with a very different lineup and one familiar face, DZ will lift the trophy here in North America.
How about that, Salt Lake City? Folks, 2020 was the last time you lifted a piece of Siege silverware. This must feel like a long time coming.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of emotions right now, for sure.
Talk me through them.
Well, you come to these tournaments year after year. I mean, this is, like you said, I haven't been in a finals in almost 6 years probably, and you fight so hard year in, and you come to every single event, and it stinks to fall short as a competitor, but like what makes a true competitor is how, you dust off, you reset, you get back in the lab, and you train hard just for moments like this. So I'm happy I won, or that we all won, but I feel like the most rewarding thing is almost like proof of our hard work is what this feels like, just to show how hard we've worked. Yeah.
I think it's absolutely obvious, and that display from you guys was dominant. At what point in this final did you feel like you'd taken control?
Control felt, after Bank, it felt like control was in our hands, and then, we just had to keep it simple. They did fight pretty hard on Bank, like when we were on the attack side, but yeah, Bank.
What do you think, guys? Should we lift this bad boy? All right, here we go. Your Rainbow Six Salt Lake City Major Champions, DarkZero! Kino, we're standing here together once again, confetti falling from the sky. It was only 6 months ago this happened for you before. Different jersey, of course. How does this one feel different?
I think the first one was more like a relief kind of thing. This one, like, I knew it was gonna happen, but the amount of work this team put in, it's unbelievable. These guys worked so hard, we all worked so hard for it, and it just paid off.
Do you feel like we're about to witness an era of DZ dominance here?
Can't say that, but we're just gonna keep working hard, just gonna keep putting our effort into this, in our all. Yeah, we'll see what happens, right?
I would be remiss to not give all of you guys a quick opportunity to say something to the crowd here. J90, what does this mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot for sure, but I just gotta shout out Aloe, Tony. He's not here right now. I don't know where he is, but he puts in a hell of a lot of work. Same with that guy, Kala, right there. Shout out them. Yeah. And shout out the team, for real. It's really a family.
Yeah. NJR, it's been a long time. Here you are, you're back again, lifting another trophy. You must feel like you were back right now, right?
I mean, this one's better. I'll tell you that right now.
Tell me why.
I mean, I think this group really, I almost like got my joy for the game back, and like just showing up every day and playing with these guys has been like so enjoyable for me. And I just have so much faith, and that allows me to have so much faith like in myself, and not only like the team as well. Like the backbone we have is crazy. It's it's unreal.
For sure, love that. Newers, just pop up here for a second, then. Congratulations. This crowd loves you. And I know that they also love one of your family members out here. Where's Kathy at?
My grandma?
Yeah!
My grandma right there. Shout out my grandma. Kathy, Kathy.
Kathy! Kathy, come on. Come up here for a minute. Come on up here. Come on. No? She's good? She's good. She's staying there. All right. All right. Should we lift the trophy one more time? Do you want to say something about your team and how proud you are?
Yeah, I mean, these guys, we put them through hell. Like, they work harder than any team in esports, I think. They do stuff out of game, they do stuff in game, and they just committed to it, and we finally got them one.
Well done, guys. Lift the trophy one more time. Here we go. Salt Lake City, make some noise one more time for DarkZero! What a performance here on home soil. I just want to give a big shout out to this crowd. You've been phenomenal for 3 days straight. Salt Lake City, make some noise for yourselves. We'll see you for our regional leagues kicking off in June. And let's not forget, the next major, we will see you in Osaka, Japan. Goodbye from SLC USA!